All right, y'all. Welcome to the Reality or Not podcast. You got a special guest here. You got Brian Clancy. Nothing new over under the sun. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, I'm blessed and impressed with the life that God gave me. What about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Good energy. Easter Sunday. I ain't doing nothing for it. I did listen to a little bit of church earlier, but I'm just moving and grooving and trying to get this day going. But
All right.
but yeah, man. How's everything? I mean, we cousins, so we could talk shit. So so just how's everything going with you?
Man, everything it's a process, man. And I say that because this last week it seemed like it was like the week before I was like, yo, business is bumping. I'm doing my own thing right now. I don't have a job. And then like last week happened and it was like, dang, they dropped out of a deal. So what I thought was coming in my pocket wasn't coming in. And when you got people depending on you, it get a little bit more trickier. So life got real last week, but then I got realer. So I was like, hey, ain't nothing to it. Just gotta pivot and do something else.
Yeah, no, you'll figure it out. The one thing I always said about like you, and it's weird, like my mom said that about me, and I always felt this about you. It's like you will always, it ain't nothing easy, you know what I'm saying? But you will always figure it out. She was like, well, you the one that I never had to worry about just because, I'm not, I'm going like, me being broke is different than a lot of other people being broke.
Yeah. And then the other part about it is you built to last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the one thing the way we grew up, and I say this being from a small town in Muskegon, Michigan, but the way we grew up, it was like, yo, stuff happens and you just gotta roll with it. We couldn't sit and cry about it. Hell, I don't think your mama would ever let you cry about it. The
Never.
way so keep it moving.
Shut the hell up.
What Brian gonna do?
Right. Yeah. Just go ahead and get this shit done. I'm like, damn, shit, all right. I'm 7, but
yeah. Hey, go back to what I tell people all the time, man. Fuck your feelings.
Yeah.
Your feelings don't mean shit. And it's messed up, but that's the way I grew up. And so like with these kids, they want you to feel more like it's cool to feel the way you feel. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, don't nobody else give a fuck about your feelings. You know what I'm saying? When it's your feelings or my feelings, it's fuck your feelings. Right. Yeah. So like
look, I could be in the house all day struggling. Like I wasn't working from December until February. I didn't cry about it. I just like got on the grind, made sure my money was good, figured out the mortgage, figured out and it's just always interesting that, like you said, being built to last. It's like I don't have nobody I can say, hey, look, I need to hold $2,500 for this mortgage per month until I get back on my feet, or I need to do that. Like it's on me. So I'm like, okay, well, how could I, tap into the savings, tap into the 401k, tap into all these things that, I put, guards up to make sure that when there's a struggle that I don't have to worry, and I tell people all the time, like, if you want a job, like your job while you don't have one, is like looking for one. It doesn't have to be like 8 hours a day. It doesn't have to, but at the same time, when I was going through my whole process, and it's always weird too, that little, and I feel like you'll get something soon, but your entrepreneurial spirit always go get you bread anyway. But just that window from like November, I'm always worried about not working from November to like February. Because like November to February is like, they usually have, closeouts and, the books are closed until, they start hiring really again. And so then now you got an interview, then you got like Indian folks hitting you in your LinkedIn and just like, hey, sign this right to represent for $30 an hour. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
man, they talk bad about the Indian recruit. I mean, I'm sorry, they be recruiting, but man, I swear, the Indians have got me probably my last 3 jobs.
That's
so
dope.
Like I'll be cool with them. And but like you said,
cool with them. I just don't like being lowballed, and then
you can't eat what. Yeah, that's why I'll be like, yo, what's market rate? Like what? Like because you can't let them, because they're trying to maximize their profits too, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just be one of them people to be like, okay, I'll take that. No, it's like, yo, what's up? Like, yeah, show me the bread. Like,
Listen, you have to literally understand how to negotiate. You can't like, some like I had a friend hit me up and they was like, well, like, what do you think I should get for this role? I was like, it's whatever you want. Like, if you feel like you're capable of contracting for 100 an hour or 80 an hour or 60 an hour, then that's what you ask for. And when you ask for those things, like, I think sometimes people are afraid to turn down things that they don't want, or turn down an opportunity, right? So they're like, well, shoot, I would like to get, I don't know, 50 an hour on, I wouldn't mind 50 an hour on W2, but I prefer 65 an hour on W2, but they're afraid that if I say 65 an hour on W2, then I'm gonna miss out on that 50 an hour on W2. It's like, no, the next opportunity is gonna come to you. Like, ask for what you want, because the thing is, when you get within these companies, you don't want to be working in, like, we have to stop looking at the job as a gig. Like, you got to look at it as your career. Like, when you look at it from a career perspective, now you're like, okay, well, how can I get the next bag for within my career? So now you're more solidified versus like, well, I'm going to do this until blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, if you can get a bag and you like, well, if I do this for 2 years, I can flip this, turn this, and add this to my entrepreneur thing, then that's cool. But don't just get a gig and like, we can't be in places for like 3 to 6 months, because that's not enough time to build equity. It's not enough time to build wealth. That money is just meant to be temporary, and that becomes difficult within our community, because we want money for now, but you spend more time playing catch up with taking these short-term jobs than actually building like like, if you can build consistency over the next 2 to 5 years, your life will be a lot easier than working this job for 6 months or working this job for 9 months.
Yeah, but Sean, I think you kind of skipped over a few things, because you said 50 on W2. And people don't understand what that means when they're talking to you like that. I work off 1099s a lot because I have my own company, and sometimes that's easier for me to. That's a lot easier for me to maneuver, because like, I'm contract to contract. That's a. So have you ever did the 1099 joint, or you always been W2?
So now I'm considering doing 1099 since I have the LLC, but I haven't done it yet. No, I've only done on W2. So
yeah, you usually can get 10 to 15% more on the 1099, and I mean that's
why I did it. that's really why, because I was doing all this contract work. I was like, wait a minute, because they were saying how you could go C2C, and I was like, well, that might be better for me if I continue, within the contract realm. And like you said, I mean, you get more money.
You also paying them taxes, and make sure y'all paying y'all taxes, people. Don't go.
That's scary, man. Like,
don't go Wesley Snipes on you. Don't let somebody tell you, well, you really don't have to pay. But what I will tell you, because tax season just got over with. Just got over with on the 15th, which I think Tuesday. But I will tell you is, when you do have a business, you are writing off a lot of the stuff that you normally write off of, right? So like when I said I work 1099, if I got to go into the job, that is me paying for my car to go to the job every day I go, right? Or if I, like when I used to
wear and tear, depreciation, all that stuff.
Yeah, I normally just do the miles, but because that was enough. But then so like when I was working in Detroit on 1099, the rent that I was paying when I was staying in Detroit, because I had a house in Muskegon, so the rent that I was paying in Detroit, totally deductible. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't be there if I wasn't working.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So if you so it's a lot of plus. Cell phone bill. My whole cell phone bill is totally deductible. I know yours is probably totally deductible because of the DJing part.
DJing, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, cell phone totally deductible. And just talking about what makes sense and how money moves and stuff. I just want people to understand you get more money by cutting costs and also by getting more money into more income, right? So don't just think like and half the time we get money in this tech thing is the real jump is between jobs. So like what you were talking about, like your next job you should be progressing more to get that extra money. So like if you made $55 an hour, that next job you're like, look, I did that, I added this, I added DevOps, I added this, and now I'm now worth 60 because that's your jump, right?
Yep. And that's I'm glad you mentioned that. Don't be afraid to jump high. Because the thing that sometimes the tricky part about, this whole salary thing is that you can never go up. You can only, you're only going to go down. So if you say, hey, look, as an example, you said the 55, you say, hey, I accept that 55. You can't get with further. I've heard stories that people getting further along the line and saying, is this negotiable when people are trying to hire you? Whereas you said within that first, like when you signed the right to represent and all those things, that you were comfortable with the salary that you wanted. And that's why I said, understand your value. A lot of people don't understand like what they bring to the table. Like,
well, dig into that though, Shante. Like your value is a lot, right? So like your value is a lot. And I want you to look at your coworker, because I looked at my coworker to find my value. My coworker was making, when I first came down to Florida, I was working at Tech Data. I was making $50 an hour. My coworker was making $70 an hour. And I was helping him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like how that work? So look around you, look at, and you got a lot right now. You got a lot of these unicorn job descriptions. I don't know what they're getting to write it, but you can't do everything and be good at anything, right? So like,
master of none.
So add those values up, like add those, and companies will try to double dip you. So as a developer, they'll try to add me as a DevOps person because, I know DevOps and I set up servers and stuff for them. So they'd be like, hey, Brian, could you take this over? Yeah, I can. And guess what? I need to be incentivized for that.
I need more money. Yeah. Like, people don't, that's one thing that you have to be cautious of. Cause I mean, within your career, you're literally, we're all resourceful, right? Like, I can do that, I can do that, I can do this, But at the same time, as you said, you have to be careful of, you want to be great at the things that they're hiring you for, because, if you're trying to do this over here and you're trying to do this over here, that takes away from the things that that you're already being great at, which can down the line hurt you. Whereas, well, we wasn't able to get this accomplished, but like, well, no, you asked me to do this. This is why this didn't get done within that time frame or whatever. And you just got to be cautious of, not to say overdoing it, but at the same time, knowing, what makes sense for the role and what you got hired for, and I learned that the hard way just recently within a contract role where, I'm over here doing deployments, 3 nights a week. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? All we need is one deployment per month or one deployment every 2 weeks. And I'm over here like, oh, well, I got to do what they asking for, blah, blah, blah. And of course, like I said, I learned it the hard way, but at the same time I was contracted, right? So it wasn't as if I had a lot of wiggle room to say, no, I can't do that. But at the same time, just know that what you're signing up for when you working for these companies, because all companies aren't good. And then the one thing that's very important to note is that you are important to the company. Like, you're not doing the company a favor. Like, it's twofold. Like, it's a vice versa service for working for a company.
It's a mutual benefit. It's a mutual benefit, right?
Yeah, it's not like
they wouldn't be hiring you. And I'm gonna just add on to that what you said, because what you're saying is just like Hidden Figures, and how
Mm-hmm.
the lady was like, "Hey, they got this computer in here, and I learned how to work this computer." You make yourself valuable by doing those extra projects, but
Mm-hmm.
then by knowing the stuff that they can't get rid of you for at the same time too, right? So like when she was like, "Yo, I know how to run it," and they was like, "What? How you know how to run it?" She said, "I read the manual." So like, look at what you like. Once you get into these companies and and start making your bread, don't forget that you still positioning yourself to do something bigger and better.
Yeah, add value to yourself consistently. Like, don't get comfortable. You never like that's one problem I have with a lot of people in general, whether it's even relationships or anything like that. Don't get comfortable. Always try to maintain and make relationships that much better, whether it's within the workforce, whether it's within your relationship with your significant other, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with your friends, whether it's, just always try to make yourself better. Like I know for me, and I had mentioned this to you before, as far as my whiteboard, is that on my whiteboard, I was like, well, I want to get this other certification. I was like, well, that will put me into another, increase my, if I'm on W-2 at 1099, that increase me probably to another 20 or $30 per hour, increase that amount. It's not, getting 20 or $30 an hour, is adding to that value, which can be significant to some. I think that equates to maybe another 50 or 60,000, or maybe a little bit. I think it's around there, like 50 or 60. So you telling me, hey, I get this cert, or I get this, I add this to my portfolio. Now I can get an extra 50K on top of my current salary or on my next position. Why not do it? But I think sometimes people chase the bag, but they just don't know how to get there, or they want it fast. And you got to understand that, okay, I always say be prepared for the next opportunity. The next opportunity, you may not get the opportunity. I give you a prime example. Shoot, I graduated college 2002, and I didn't do anything within computer science or within engineering until damn near 2011. And that's, going to grad school and doing all those things. Now, granted, I was DJing, I had more, I was making a good amount of money with DJing where I wasn't even worried about the engineering thing. But at the same time, I was like, well, I don't have life insurance, or I don't have health insurance.
Health
Like, okay,
insurance,
well,
yeah.
let's figure out some shit. And, that's when I went to grad school, and then I started, pursuing my career within, back within engineering, even though I was working within the music industry. And it's just always interesting, like always be prepared and ready. Like even when I was working within the music industry, I was DJing, so, and I had like a good understanding of music. So when I got that opportunity, it was just plug me in, go work for this company for 3 years, and then, okay, well, now I'm ready for engineering. It's like, well, I already got the degree. I just got my master's. So it's like, well, now I'm just looking for the opportunity. Now I'm in. I had to come in as an intern, and I managed to get hired in. But, it's just interesting. Just have yourself ready for the opportunity. Don't just be praying to God, hoping for something. It's like, well, shoot, I hope I can get this job, but you ain't doing the necessary things to be able to get yourself within that position. So
Yeah, and I want to just put back on what you said earlier too. Like when you in this game, don't spend everything that you're making, right? I haven't had a job since October.
mm-hmm.
And I feel you when you said like the end of the year where you got that period where nobody wants to hire anybody because it's the end of the year. So what we let's get that hiring started in the beginning of next year. But then in the beginning of next year, that's the new year, new quarter,
Yep.
everybody reevaluating everything. So then you get pushed out another 2 months. People
Mm-hmm.
start doing stuff in February.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a weird market, but your boy is blessed. I was able to put a
They
little money on.
lowball
Yeah.
So
And
that,
so
I mean,
like,
I don't think that you're not, applying or looking at things. It's just like I feel like sometimes companies are just not giving you the value. Like I said, it's a mutual benefit to get what you want within the market. I mean, you're not just going to be like, well, shoot. I mean, because you can go and do DevOps for whatever, on 1099, but You be like, bro, I'm not doing this for 35 an hour. Like, it's just like, you're crazy. Like, all of the work that you're gonna have me doing, what I'm gonna sign up for, and you want me to just take whatever you're providing is, and it's not like that. But I feel that a lot of people sometimes just take whatever's available to them just because of, and that's why I say you got to build wealth. Like, I don't ever want to have to depend on a job. I want to be able to take that be able to look at opportunities and then consider them, rather than, oh man, if I don't get this job by end of April, then shoot, I'm gonna be out here sucking dick for rent. Like, I don't know. It's like shit, that's shit you don't like. I don't ever want to have to suck dick for rent. Like, fuck that. Like, that's something that I would appreciate and try to avoid as much as possible.
Yeah, man, you might have to sell one of these houses or something like that.
Listen, right? Like, they got, some's got to go. Like, no, you got to. Yeah, and with me, being a sneakerhead and stuff like that. I mean, and people will say it all the time, like, man, you got a lot of sneakers and stuff like that. I'm like, well, shoot, when times hit hard, I let.
And that's what I was just about to say. Are those fours? You got the fours on?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. So, all right, yeah. So those fours, and what people don't understand, shoes can appreciate more faster than a house.
Yeah.
Like depending on when they releasing stuff, and Nike do a really good job at managing the flow of maximizing people's profit when it comes to the shoes. But if you have them, I remember you used to be out early mornings, late nights, getting in line, right?
Yep. Yeah. And a lot, and that's funny. 2014, I wasn't working, and all I did was sell shoes and DJ. And I made more money selling the shoes, although I didn't want, it's like, some, they have sentimental value to you, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, well, I told you, I ain't sucking dick for rent, bro. Like, it's like that's just one, like, that's just one. I will not put myself down to that point of having to, and that's metaphorically speaking. That's I don't suck dick, but like, I don't want to ever get to the point of just trying, like, not knowing how to figure it out. Like, I always have a way to figure it out. And I think a lot of people just depend on one stream of, like, well, if I don't have no job, then I can't pay this bill or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like, have multiple streams of income. I mean, I remember with you, like, from being a kid, selling candy, and working these jobs and stuff like that, or even me with a paper route. Like, I've always had a way that I never had to depend on like I said, my mom, she worked at the prisons, she had a decent job, but at the same time, it's like, well, within that household, I was taught, like, well, if I'm not bringing in money, then
you ain't spending it either. Yeah.
I ain't getting no money. Like,
you're not spending it. Yeah.
Look, I used to be happy to have just $5. Like
$5 used to go a long way. Like, I was just talking to somebody. I was like, I remember finding $20 and being able to buy, packs of 9-liters was 10 cents. You buy 10 of them for $1. Like that, a candy bar was 25 cents. I'm dating myself. Back in the day,
it's fine. Look,
these candy bars today cost $2.50.
I used to hate Shastas when they was 25 cents, and you had to pay the 10 cents on them. I was like, damn, shit, like because of the whole deposit and shit in Michigan. But
right.
It's just one of the. But like, you used to go to McDonald's, and McDonald's value meals used to be $3.
The double daily. Remember the double daily? Because we used to work at McDonald's. We used to. The double daily was a $1.99, $2.17 with tax, right? You got the double cheeseburger, but only one piece of cheese, not the two.
Not two, yeah. The McDoubles, yeah. They. I never understood. I was like, wait, so that's the science behind it? Like, oh, you only get one slice. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, you only get one slice of cheese and not the two. And then you got mayonnaise and mayonnaise. The other ones only came with ketchup and mustard and pickles. For some reason, the daily double came with mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato. So like,
it came with onions too, but it had them little shriveled up onions that came in a pack. Yeah, I used to always get the daily double with, I would say, put quarter onions on them instead of the slivered onions. because you actually cut the quarter pounder onions, but the other onions just came in that little pack. They just squeezed them on, and that shit was disgusting.
Yeah. Yo, so back to the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Forrest, one of my favorite pair. What's your favorite pairs? Like, I see
shoot,
right.
let's see. So it's funny. And this is where with me and you, like I remember, what was it, 8th grade? You came to basketball practice with the 5s on. And
I got the 5s at lunch at 8th grade. Yeah.
Listen, and that was the one I was like, damn, like, because it was just it sticks out to me the most because that was a shoe I couldn't afford at the time, or that mom didn't wasn't buying, but it was always one that I wanted, so that's always one that sticks out to me just because you, and I remember Idris had a pair as well, but it's like you came to practice, who was our coach? Was it Mikhail? What's his name? Starts with an M. I can't remember the 8th grade coach or whatever. Starts with an M. Anyway, but you had those on, and we was, trying out for the team, and we was running the suicides and shit, and you had them on. I thought that was like so dope to me. So that's one, and I actually got the shoe sitting right here. It's actually dying. Like this one, like the whole toe that fell off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
no, they just retro these a couple months ago, and I wasn't able to get them. They called them
the black with the Durabox.
Yeah, they call them the Reimagined 5s. They changed them up a little bit. Like they put like all of this was like white or silver, and then the laces was all white, and they put like some 3M on them. So like they really, like if you took a picture, it really stuck out. But yeah, man, when you had these, bro, like this is one of the ones that, like I said, I've always wanted. So I got probably like 2 more pairs of just this colorway because I've always loved this colorway. But this is just so dope to me back in the day because it's, you think about it with Jordans, right? Like Jordans was probably the first shoe that started without having a Nike check on them or whatever. Right. So that was always just, dope to me in general. Because like we didn't know because it was just a shoe release every year. It wasn't as if these came out like all the time or came out every 3 or 4 years. This was just 88, or I think that might have been 89. But because the 88s to 3s came out. But no, the 88 to 3s came out. So this was 90. So, but yeah, you had these in 8th grade, and I've always wanted them.
Yeah. They released on, and see, here's the story behind them. They released on my birthday, October 26th. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get my mom wasn't buying them either. So I had saved up like $80, and there was $125, $130 with tax, right? Mm-hmm. And so my mom was like, I was like, yo, I really want those shoes because I hadn't had no $100 shoes ever. And my mom was like, I'll never buy a $100 pair of shoes. And I was like, well, I got 80. You know what I'm saying? Could you put 50 on it? Mm-hmm. And she was like, I spent 50 on it. Because that's dope. And then like she came up to the school. I got in the van and she got them for me. And I was like,
Your mic went out. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, so that one was definitely like number one just because of our relationship. Then I got another pair over here, which are the 6s, or I'll go to the 6s last. But the 3s, it's one of my favorite ones where this is definitely, I definitely wasn't affording these at the time. I want to say, I think this is 125 at the time too. But like I said, this is one of the 2s didn't have the Nike check on them too, but these were kind of, this was 88 where, the dunk contest. And
when he wore the gold chains.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now this was one like that year was crazy because he won the dunk contest. He won the MVP for the All-Star game. He won the MVP that year. He was defensive player of the year. So it was just like, and that's just a unique thing about Jordan or whatever. It's like Jordan, like his influence on the game. I remember, when we were younger, they were saying, how he was selfish and all that stuff. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you ain't got the team to do it, I mean, you got to go out there and get them numbers. But Jordan was, I mean, even when '89 they made him be the point guard. I mean, he was averaging like 7 rebounds and 7 assists. So he was still, doing this thing. But yeah, this is one of the ones that, I mean, this was I don't think I would have ever considered even getting it because I was poor. That's the only way I could describe it. But yeah, this is my second favorite. And then you got the Jordan 6s, which is like this is my favorite. Only because I don't know if you remember back in the day, we was this was 9th grade. So back in the day, Aaron Briggs and I forgot the other dude name who we used to hang out with, but they skipped
Price.
Yeah, they skipped school and came back with these for lunch. And like I was like, it was some, and I don't, not to say I mean I'm not an NBA fan or anything like that, but I don't remember seeing these until they had them on. I don't remember like Jordan playing in them until they were released. Because I remember they skipped school they came out on a Wednesday. They skipped school and
they used
had
to drop
these
on the Tuesday.
This was definitely a Wednesday. I remember that shit vividly because they ended up changing it because I think this was the last year, or it might have been like the year after where they pushed everything to. No, it might have even been later than that. But they started pushing them to Saturday because everybody was skipping school to get them.
Yeah, it was later than that because Muskegon High School stopped playing. They had so much. It was so much around the Jordan shoes that one year, I think there was the 13s that they came out that people were skipping school to go buy it. And then our high school that I took driver training at high school, but you did too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they stopped offering it because they was like, if they got enough money to go buy these shoes, they can pay for driver's training at a private company. So the whole district just stopped offering driver's training. So
did you pay for driver's training?
No, I didn't because we got to do it at school. So
I definitely didn't. Funny story about that. I remember we was in driver's training, and I can't remember the person's name, but we were driving and we were out in North Muskegon.
Yeah.
And we was riding out there and we got to like we was at the lake, and they had like a little barrier, before you can get to the, it was actually the lake or Lake Michigan. And the the trainer had to hit the brake because the chick who was driving almost drove us into into the Lake Michigan and shit. Like they had to use their little extra, because they have a pedal on their side.
On their side,
yeah. I was like, okay, I can't drive with everybody. That was literally the one.
Who was your driver training instructor? I got to take it a year before you because I'm older than you. So
yeah, I cannot remember, but all I remember is they had to hit that brake.
So my driving instructor was Mr. Gibson. I had Carol Fife and I had been driving before driver's training, so I kind of knew I kind of knew how to drive. But Carol Fife got behind the wheel, my nigga, and that was the scariest thing ever because I was like, everybody knows that one pedal does this and one pedal. Like, who goes to driver training and never got behind the wheel of a car? But like,
right. Yeah,
she scared the crap out of me because instead of putting it in and drive, she just hit the gas.
Oh damn!
And then she was like, "Oh," and tried to hurry up, and I was like, "Oh!"
Panicked. It's like no, like you just rev the engine. Like stop. Like take your time and figure. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I forgot. No, take your foot off the pedal. Like it was almost instant, and he was like, "No."
Oh shoot.
Yeah, so I didn't get to drive much in driver's training, and I was working. So,
that's terrible.
They would drop me off at work too. So they was like, "Yo, you good? You know how to do this stuff. You know how to
Listen, when I got my permit, the first thing I had to do, and I'm still fucked up to this day, but the first thing I had to do, it was like maybe a week later, I had to drive to Mississippi. And mind you, I mean, we was driving before, all that stuff. So I knew how to drive, but that was my first time ever driving on the highway. And I'm driving on the highway and I'm driving through like Chicago, and dog, it was it was a truck on the left of me, and it was a truck on the right of me, and it's raining. And I'm just driving in the middle, shook as fuck. Like, I still to this day, like if it's like two trucks, I will like slow down and get behind them until them niggas until they pass each other. I can't do it. Like, that shit really fucked me up. So that fucked me up. And then what's the shit? This ain't driver training, but the Final Destination 2 movie
with the logs in the back.
Man, nigga, like I see a log on the motherfucking truck. Nigga, I will pull over. Like, I am not doing it.
I see logs, I see ladders or whatever. But I'm gonna bring you back to where we started from. You was built to last. They threw you into the they threw you right to the fish grease. They was like, he can
drive to Mississippi. Nigga, I had never driven outside of Muskegon. I'm driving that bitch. Now I'm like sweating and shit. Like literally, it's raining and there's two trucks on the side of me. To this day, I will not fuck with like two vehicles.
I'm gonna tell you too.
On each side of me.
You and Idris and even your mom, man, Evelyn, y'all made it so I never wanted to stay or be in Mississippi. Like, I used to be like, what? They still got outhouses? Like y'all never made Mississippi sound like the place I wanted to go. I was like, well, no, I'm straight. Like the stories that y'all used to tell me about being in Mississippi and it being hot and like y'all and nothing to do. I was
no like, Nintendo, no having to use the bathroom outside. Like, nigga, so to this day, I have not been back to Mississippi, and I will not stop in Mississippi if I'm driving somewhere. To this day, like one time, I was
even Gulfport.
Nah, nigga, I am not going to. I go to Louisiana, but like I will make sure I have enough gas. Like if I'm driving to Texas, I make sure I have enough gas to get from between Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana or New Orleans or Louisiana. I will not stop in Mississippi at all. Like I damn near. Listen. One time in high school when I was in Texas, like, and this was after all of the bad, not bad shit, but all of the stuff in Mississippi that I'm like, I ain't never going back. I drove. When I was 16, I drove from Texas to Mississippi, and it's crazy too.
Talk about it. Central Texas. You was driving from Waco, right?
Yeah, Fort Hood, Killeen, yeah. And it's like, in the trust that we had back then, like I had my nephew and niece in my car, or in my sister's car. They 2 and 3 years old. I'm 16, driving from Fort Hood, Texas to Mississippi, 9-hour drive. I'm like, damn, they really, but thinking back to it, it's like, I was a really trustworthy person, for you to let me drive with your 2 and 3 year old, like.
Was you driving that? Was that the Escape? I mean, not the Escape.
What's that shit that I got in an accident in? What's that shit?
Ford Express was
Ford. It was a Ford.
Escape. No,
I wanted to Escape. Right? Escape went around there, and it was the starts with an E.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was that car, and I drove all the way to Mississippi to pick up my mom because for some reason my mom came down with Uncle LC, and Uncle LC was staying, and she was going to Texas, so I had to drive and come pick her up. Well, I didn't have to. I mean, she asked me if I'd come and pick her up, so I came and picked her. I got to Mississippi. I sat there for like 30 minutes. I was like, all right, it's time to go. And I drove the whole 9 hours back. I was like, I will not be in Mississippi ever again. You know, it's probably changed since then. You know, you got you got Jackson, or you got Hattiesburg, you got all of these other, you know, cities that like we were in the sticks. We were in the terrible areas that like.
So what part of Mississippi was it? Because like I was like, yo, I don't even know what part they was going to, but they made it to
Boca Chica, Mississippi, or Brookhaven, and that shit was terrible. You know, shit, Nick Idris spent months down there. Like,
yeah, because he went down there because he got in trouble and like he wasn't doing good in school. So
look, I would only be down there for a week. You know what I'm saying? And like, or like 4 or 5 days, mom be like, hey, we turn it back around, we're going home. Like, we never stay. I've never been in Mississippi for more than a week. But nah, that I would not go back to, like, and our cousin Jerome is still there. And I said I'd go and check him out and go, because, you know, doing stuff as an adult is way different than and that's another. So let me add this to the story. Like, my mom and Uncle LC, they'll get a hotel room and we would stay at Aunt Desi's house. You know, so they have a hotel room. They be eating Popeyes and shit. And we over here eating just Aunt Desi's cooking. Don't get me wrong, Aunt Desi could cook. But it was just like, damn, like, you know, we want Popeyes or we want, you know, but as an adult now, it's probably a whole different perspective. But from how I was traumatized as a kid, man, I ain't going to Mississippi at all. So
yeah, and see, like I ended up being with Katrina. I was down in Biloxi and Gulfport, and that wasn't bad, but it was still backwoods. I ain't crapping on nobody from Mississippi because both of my. But you know what? I'm gonna address that in the room too because my dad told me he was born in Boca Chica, Mississippi, and he was born in Muskegon, Michigan.
he was born in Muskegon. I think she was born in Muskegon too, if I remember correctly. He was born in Muskegon.
Yeah, he was born in Mississippi. I'm from Boca Chica. He did live down there when he was young, but he wasn't born down there. So like all these times I've been talking about both my parents from Mississippi, and because my mom was born in Sunflower County, Mississippi, and if y'all got a chance to see Sinners, they even talk about Sunflower County down there. Again, Mississippi ain't a place that I rock with. I thought, I was like, yo, it's black people. They down there, they doing their thing, but it's just a place that I don't rock with. I'm good,
and that's okay. Like, listen, I tell people all the time, like, I don't need to get in the pool, or I don't need to go swimming. I don't need to swim. What the fuck I need to swim for? I don't need to be by bodies of water. Like, I'll do, you know, cruises and stuff like that, but what the fuck? Like, I don't need to know how to. Why do I need to know how to swim? I mean, I know how to swim, but
yeah, you know how to swim because you went to Muskegon public schools and everybody.
But I don't need to be in bodies of water. I don't need to be trying to prove to people that I can swim. You know, like, it's certain things that we were taught that. Don't get me wrong. I think in general life, like, we're prepared for things. It's like, but no, I don't need to fucking swim. Like, I'm still to this day will not go into the deep end. You know, fuck all that. Like, what the fuck for? Like, what I need to be in water that's above my head.
Well, you should jump off the diving board at Muskegon open swim.
Oh, not me.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't dive off?
Hell no! I've never jumped off the diving board at Muskegon. Never. Like, I will never.
See,
like,
I thought we had to do. Oh, because you left and went to Texas too. So like, yeah. So you might.
Yeah, that you talk about the 10 feet one? Nah, I did the diving board at Bunker. Yeah, and that shit was like 6 feet high, and even I think I want to say it was split.
8 feet. That one went down to 8 feet, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I want to say it was split still. I wasn't getting into the deep end, you know, like fuck all that. Yeah. I felt like and this is maybe trauma, but I felt like it was 7th to 8th grade. I felt like I was damn near about to drown in 6 feet of water, and you know, I'm like, nigga, I'm 6 feet tall, or 5'11" or whatever, and like, nigga, I was in that bitch like struggling. I was like, man, I was like, no more pool for me, whatever. I think it might have been Joe Meyer or somebody that saved me and shit. No, it was I forgot Chad. I can't remember his last name, whatever. But I used to run cross country with him. But Chad Olsen, I think. But yeah, he got me out of the motherfucking 6 feet of water and shit. And nigga, I felt like I was about to die.
So. Man, I know how to swim, and I can swim pretty good. I don't know. I ain't tested it in a while, but. You're right. That's one of them things where, like, I don't get in water.
Why do I need to do that? Like people like, oh, it's a good exercise, it's a good full body workout. No, I just do a full body workout. Like I'm okay. Like I ain't got to get in the pool to prove that I can do a full body workout in the pool. I think that shit is just crazy to me. But really back, what's your 3 Jordans that's your favorites?
Oh man, so of course there was the 5s, because the 5. So I'm gonna go in order. 4s, the ones that like, I like the black ones the most. The black ones with they had the black
Red.
look great. So it was the 4s, the 5s, and then I'm gonna go with the 6s. Those are my favorite. Those are my top 3. Now I really mess with the 10s because I feel like they're very comfortable. But my top is a 4. And I'm gonna tell you, it's because the D-boys used to wear the 4s, and they just looked sweet to me. And I was like, "Yo, shoot!" Like the little, and then the 5s was my first experience with them, and like you can tell me, I couldn't jump higher with them. And then the 6s, didn't they have the Bugs Bunny 6s?
Yep.
The Bugs Bunny 6s, and I was like,
the Bugs Bunnies was the 7s, but I want to say in the little ad he had on 6s. Whatever, okay. But the 7s was like when they really started, pushing.
The 6s was the Olympics now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Carmines and because I remember the 7s were the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah, because you remember
the 7s and the 6s are a lot alike. It's just but so I'm rock with the 6s.
I'm gonna call out something, and I don't know if you ever knew this, and I didn't know this. I could probably pull it on another shoe, but if you look at this shoe, I didn't realize like it's supposed to be a 2 right here. And it's supposed to be a 3 right here. I didn't realize like the leather pattern is supposed to. I didn't.
It's supposed to be 2, 3. Oh,
yeah. Like if you look at it, you can see it. But like it's like right here is a 3, then right here is a 2. And I didn't realize that was I was looking at. I was like, damn, I never even realized that or whatever. You can really see it when you're looking at. I got the Carmines in the other room, but you could really see it on the Carmines or like the white and red ones. But funny story about these is I didn't have this colorway, but I don't know. Well, you remember Fred. He's older than us, but Fred,
my brother from another mother.
Right. So Fred, I couldn't afford, like I didn't have these right away. So what Fred did was I had the David Robinsons, and I scuffed them on the side intentionally to take them back. So then I had Fred take them back.
Was that Imperial Sports back then?
No, this is Foot Locker. This is like Foot Locker in the middle of the mall down in Muskegon Mall. And this one, Foot Locker took back everything. So Fred took them back for me and got me another pair of David Robinsons. And then, so now I'm in another fresh pair of David Robinsons.
Never been worn. Yeah.
I pulled a thread out on the inner part of the David Robinsons. And Fred took them back for me again and got me the white and blue. I think they call them September blue, the white and blue 6s. So we hooped. I had Fred take those 6s back again when the other 6s came out, the Carmines, the one with the white and red suede.
Yeah.
I had Fred get me those. So I got the 6s based off of being a fuck nigga and ripping shoes and taking advantage of Foot Locker, and I appreciate it. But yeah, that was when Foot Locker took everything back, because I ended up buying the white and infrared ones from MC Sporting Goods. And this is when Jordans used to go on sale too. So I think I got them for like $70. But
$70, they went down that low. I thought it was like $89.
Yeah, they got down to set. Look, I remember to this day. You remember Fred Simmons? Yeah. I was talking to Fred. It was this store, and it might have been Athlete's Foot. I can't remember, but it was in Holland, Michigan. And like they had the I don't know if you remember the white. It was a white, red, and black 5s. With the 23 on the side. I think they call them Fire Reds, whatever. Not the first white ones, but it was the ones that had the 23 on the side for Jordan, so it was like red bottom instead of a white and black bottom. Mm-hmm. But Fred, I saw him in the Holland Mall for $65 because they were older because like the Sixers that came out, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go back and get them." Man, Fred came to school like 3 days later with the Sixes or with the fives
I remember them. I remember them. Yeah,
I got in the box up in there, but that's one of my favorite shoes. But he got them for $65. And I was like, damn, I wish I'd, he had got the pair that I was going to get. He had went to Holland Mall, got that pair for $65. I was like, damn, but back in the day.
Didn't you buy it from him?
Huh?
Didn't you buy it from him?
Nah. Niggas weren't selling shoes to each other back then. But he had them. We was in band together and shit. But he had them, and I was like, damn. I was like, you got them from Holland from you? He was like, yep. I was like, yep. Fred Simmons got my motherfucking fives and shit. But I got them shits later, so I feel good about it.
Man, you say that, but I remember either Joe Meyer had some, Jay might have had some, Jay Wallace might have had some Jordans, and like I was about to. You didn't buy any Jordans from anybody back in the day because they didn't even appreciate them.
Listen, Joe Meyer. I'm glad you brought Joe Meyer up. Joe Meyer has influenced a lot of the shoes. Well, I mean, they were available to everybody, but Joe Meyer had every shoe that I wanted for probably about 5 years. Like Joe Meyer had the Bo Jacksons. I don't know if you remember the
I remember the cross fit Bo Jackson. Yeah,
he had those. It was like this Air Max 180 where they finally showed like the whole soul of it or whatever. He had those for track, and I wanted those. He had the Agassiz, the 2 pairs that I wanted. I have both of them now, but he had the
Agassiz and the Bo Jacksons kind of reminded me of each other. But like, yeah, I remember the Agassiz too because
every single shoe that Joe. I remember Joe had the Barkley 180s that he wore for the Olympics. I wanted those. Still haven't gotten those, but Joe literally had 5 or 6 shoes. I'm like, damn, Joe. Like he had the Huaraches when they first came out. He had the white, purple, and the white, green, and blue ones. The first pair that ever came out. I wanted those. But I ended up. I remember trying to and this is when I was trying to get some track shoes, and Mom went with it. But I was trying to. I was about to get some Dope Mans, and
the Nike Cortez, Dope Mans.
Look, and I had them at the register and everything, and the dude said something about them being Dope Mans, and she did not let me get them. Like, and they was cheaper than I ended up getting like some, and it's crazy. They still make Pegasus to this day, but I ended up getting some Pegasus for track in like 9th grade or whatever. But some Nike Air Pegasus. But yeah, she wouldn't get them. She wouldn't get them. And I don't know if you remember them. I don't know.
Reeboks.
Yeah, the Reebok.
Yeah, the Reebok.
Yep. She wouldn't get those either. She was like, nah, just like that's what the dope boys were like. She would not get them for me. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was the day. But let me ask you this question. Like, how do you feel about, like, say, for instance, the NBA? Do you think the NBA will ever get in? I tell people all the time, like, players have gotten better and, but at the same time, because we punish our players now for what players have done in the past, right? So say, for instance, Jordan holds a dark shadow over the league. I mean, Jordan hasn't played in over 20 plus years. And it's always, I feel when Jordan started winning championships, it changed the way that people perceive the game, as in like, well, if you don't win a championship, you're not good enough. Because you think about back in the day when we was watching the game, I had other favorite players, that I like to watch outside of Jordan. Like Isaiah's one of my favorite players. Hell, even Chris Mullin, just because he was left-handed, and David Robinson, because he was left-handed. It's just like we had.
I didn't even know that nigga was left-handed.
You're talking about Dave Robinson or Mullin?
Dave Robinson. I knew Mullin was. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked them just because they, and I mean, it's like, look, even going back, like, and I tell people all the time, like, I was a Michigan fan before, I went to state. Like, Glenn Robinson was one of my, not Glenn Robinson, but Glenn Rice was when they won the champion. I think that's when I like started I went fully into college sports because I was fucking 12, but at the same time I was like, that's when they won the national championship in '89. That's when I kind of like really started paying attention to college basketball. So like even like all my jerseys are custom jerseys and stuff, like they all number 41, and I wore number 41, playing basketball in junior high, but it's just like we had other players that we looked up to outside of Jordan, but that 6-0 narrative has kind of made it that if you don't win 6 championships, then or 6 championships undefeated in the final or 6-0, that you're not as good or as talented as Jordan was in the league. So, just what's your thoughts on that? Because I always just find it interesting. Like, I think LeBron, I think other players or Kobe or even Shaq, watching Shaq I don't really care for him on TNT as much just because he's always trying to poke Barkley or whatever. But at the same time, Shaq at his best, nobody could stop that guy. Like, and that's not to say that Jordan at his best, somebody could stop him. Jordan was just great, but there was literally nobody that you could put in front of Shaq that
could hold him. Yeah, that
could get you those
just
numbers.
Think of Giannis plus 40 pounds, right? Straight up. Yeah,
he was agile and he moved around. He was. It wasn't like he was just heavy. He was very mobile within the lane.
And so, strong as shit.
Yeah. So what's your take on it?
So the NBA as a whole has changed, and I think that the reason why I don't think these cats is talented, right? Mm-hmm. I think all these cats are talented, and they may have more talent than Michael Jordan, but mm-hmm. I don't think they have the heart that Michael Jordan has, or they had the heart of what it took to play basketball. Like, so I think that's my biggest issue is with the game, and now, like. You had to really want to play basketball back in the day to be great at it, right? Mm-hmm. You had to really you wanted to punish anybody who was in front of you to be great at it. Now I think they just really want to have the best highlights, and like the greatest highlights have overtaken the heart to be like. In my era, when I remember when Sean Kemp dunked on somebody and pointed, bang, 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 bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because he wanted to posterize you, but he also wanted to win the game, right? And I think these players nowadays, they like basketball is what I do and not necessarily my passion. I look at Draymond and I think because he had this big thing this whole last week where he was like, F the old school because they ain't effing with us. But I think it's because, like, if your passion was basketball, and like and Draymond is one of those people that go out and play every goddamn all night. He plays above, and this is what it is. He plays above his talent, right? He goes out there, he does all the small things. Because if you look at his box scores, you'd be like, hey, they can replace Draymond with
Listen, I was about to say that to you. It's weird to see Draymond playing his heart out and all he puts up is like 4 points. That's just so crazy to me. Like, how no, I'm not taking anything away from him, but at the same time,
I am taking it away from him because
I'm like, bro, you get 4 points, like that's 2 free throws and 1 layup.
But he got the rebound that they really needed to seal the deal, though, right? So like,
no, he hustles. Like, it's just weird to me to see you playing 35 minutes and you're not like Dennis Rodman, in my opinion, I forgot his numbers, and I think he's maybe averaging like 7 or 9 in for the Bulls. But Dennis Rodman is clearly, I'm talking about like transparently not a scorer. Like, he doesn't even go for it. Like, he doesn't even try to score. He'll tap the ball 5 times in a row and then kick it out to whoever to start the play over again. And I'm like, how does Draymond not score? That's just beyond me. Like, how could you play
especially
that
in the NBA we got today too, right? And so,
Yeah,
like,
two free throws and one layup. Like that's that's all I'm like, look, I'm not NBA talent or anything like that, but at the same time, I'm like, as a player, I would expect at least and I look at like looking at all of the players in my bad friend, and I'll let you keep going on that. But like I just look at it like as 5 starters, your starters should at least be averaging double digits. Or close
no doubt.
to it.
With the way that the league is set up now, I think it should because here's the other part about it too that the era is different because like now you got people going for the foul and not the points. You know what I'm saying? And so like it makes you look weak because you're looking for the referee to bail you out because of contact, and then they don't like people touching people no more, right? So basketball is a contact sport. I can touch you all day. I can't direct you, right? And so like the way that the sport is played today is the detriment of how these new school players and it's going to be. I like how Ant-Man plays. I like how like I don't feel cheated by Ant-Man or Ja, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they go out there and they play within the passion that they have, and they're gonna give every game. They're gonna give every game the business. Now, is most of these people out here trying to do that? I look at Andre Drummond.
It's hard to
matter of fact,
it's hard to determine passion and heart because I feel like once you roll the ball out there, you playing for something. You know, I think that like say for instance, like if you look at the what's the brothers from Detroit or Detroit and Houston
Arsar and the Thompson.
Yeah, Arsar Amen. Like looking like I was looking at their path to the NBA. And if you look at their path was strictly to hoop. They didn't care like if like they didn't go like they skipped part of high school. They went to this
to the G.
They literally took a whole different path to be able to get to the league. Like they are literally about hooping. You know, they weren't with hell, like I said, they weren't even with high school, you know, like, but which is crazy to me. But it's just like, is their path? I feel like they're talented, and I think that they're, you know, but I feel like they're built for basketball. So, you know, determining their path and their heart, like I'm just saying their passion and their heart, it's hard to determine, you know, because I think once you roll the ball out there,
you say that though. Here's my thing, right? Being a coach and being a referee and I was at the game when the Hawks played Orlando for the play-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I seen Trae Young give up on his team. I seen him give up on plays, and I seen him just give up on playing. Right? He got the second. He got a bunch.
Kobe's done that, but you know, Kobe's revered as the Mamba, or you know, but that's I'm not like I don't want to put them in the same.
But that's a different era. Like Kobe, he hung his hat on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
but look at it like was it?
He stopped shooting.
Listen, I was like, I've never like. Don't get me wrong. It took me a while to get back into Kobe just because I felt like he kind of played Shaq in that whole fiasco to get Shaq out of LA. You know, and then him snitching too. Him talking about Shaq do this and nobody say anything. Like saying that to the police.
He is a bitch and will always be a bitch. And I'm not saying that to begrudge his name, because Kobe was a great basketball player. But Kobe played the game like a prison guard. Kobe was like, I'm fucking all y'all. I'm doing it. I'm fucking. Jordan played the game like, hey, I'm just as good. I'm great. I'm having a good time. Kobe, it was more of like, I told all you bitches. I'm putting cases on all you bitches, right?
You traded dating.
Yeah. Versus Jordan, like, and so like the kill instinct is one thing, but then like the whole attitude and like and alluding to the stuff that you were talking about, like I think he was a great father. That was the one thing that I give him all the play for in the world. But he was a bitch. The way he ran his locker room, the way he cried, the way he got coaching fired, like he was a true
Parker. Got him out of there. He said he fucked with Lynn. One thing I'll say this one thing, Jeremy Lin. The one thing I will say about Kobe that, I mean, it was to his detriment, but it made him better, was that Colorado case where he had to he was humbled. You know what I'm saying?
He
So he was like, shut up, hoop. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all 36. I'm gonna give y'all 34, and then that's it. So it's like that's when I think I kind of tuned back into him, just because he was brash and he was just not confrontational, but it was like an ego thing that it was like I said, the Colorado thing shut him up. But then, like I said, with 2007, when he stopped shooting against Phoenix in the second half, and I was like, damn, like shit. Because at one point in time, they were talking. I didn't realize this, but they were talking about him going to the Pistons. And
he was going to go to the Pistons. That was after the year. It was like me and Shaq, and they was about to trade into the Pistons. Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked, but
yeah, it would have been weird. Like, I think the Pistons are an organization. They've just built a certain way that only certain players are going to thrive there. Like, I had posted something about Zion going there. I was like, Zion, that'd be where his career go to, for him to be in the grave. Like, great. Like, you got to be like kind of like a team player within that Bickerstaff, coaching, to be able to work within that. And like Kobe, it'd have been like Kobe. And I'm thinking like with that 2007 Kobe, I don't know if Rip would have been a part of that trade or if it'd have been Rashid at that time. Ben was already gone. So I'm not even sure the pieces that they would have had to even keep Kobe or to get Kobe, but it would just been interesting. And I still remember when he did the thing with Stephen A. and he was saying, my team is not good and da-da-da-da. I'm like, yo, like, these are people who you go to war with. Like, you can't, you don't say these things in public. You're like, hey, look, I mean, and that's one thing that was dope about Jordan. Jordan had great PR training, and that when he would talk about things, he was like, well, hey, you know what? We lost. We'll come back next year stronger than ever, and hope and kudos to Orlando for being able to, to be able to get this win. And then you hear little stories. You'd be like, yeah, that's all Jordan thought about was beating Orlando the next year. That's just crazy. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, to have that type of vendetta. Like, oh no, I'm sweeping them next year.
But that's the pride. That's the pride, right? It's like, yo, like, I got like that's the pride in himself, and I think that's the difference between these players and that. Like, the pride in saying, hey, I'm not only a great basketball player, I am the basketball player, right? Like, these guys got confidence, but then they don't have the pride in their work ethic, and I think that's not just basketball, but that's what I'm missing in basketball. And like you said, they have these teams. Like, I used to be a season ticket holder down here with Orlando Magic, but I can't take mediocrity and be like, yo, you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because the Orlando Magic
used to be a place to go. They used to be the grave. Orlando.
But see, I'm waiting on somebody like
I like Paolo though now, but
again, I think they feed him to kid. I think they feed him, and you see it in the way that they trying to get him his numbers, right? They're trying to get him his all-star. They're trying to have that all-star number. They're trying to make him. And to me, you don't have to force that when it's out there, right? And when and like watching them play, and like I'm getting deeper into the game, right? Because I'm like, yo, this dude he got the green light every time he gets the ball. When he brings down the ball down the court, best believe that possession he's shooting.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the nature of the game, though. Like, look at it like this, right? If you break down the game, you look at it because the game is a lot faster. And if you really paying attention to how everything is moving, right? You got it used to be 10 seconds. Now you got 8 seconds to get the ball across the half court line. Now you literally have 16 seconds to run a play. So within that 16 seconds, you getting the ball up. Say, for instance, Paolo, right? Like, Paolo, he's not necessarily the point guard, but sometimes he brings the ball up. So you got 16 seconds to execute a shot within that window, and then it just goes to the next team. If you make a shot, they take it out and go to the next play. But I mean, I'm just saying, looking at it from a high level, it's like, damn, like, you literally only have 16, and that's why you look at James Harden, right? James Harden in Houston, it was damn near like, okay, swing it to the left, swing it to the right, swing it back to James Harden. James Harden is one-on-one for the next 6 to 8 seconds. So I just think the game is so fast that you got to have that star player that's doing it. And like I said, I like Paolo a lot. I like Wagner a lot too.
I like the Wagner boys, but I don't like the Orlando Magic system. I think they would develop Pablo, like they're making him an all-star. Do you think they'll give him a super max?
Yeah, without a doubt.
I doubt it.
He's getting
that. And the reason why I doubt it because they never want to pay nobody.
He's getting that. Like if he doesn't get the super max from Orlando,
he's gonna go somewhere else, right?
He's going somewhere else. The tricky part about the super max, which I'm learning, and we saw this with Jimmy Butler and who else? What's a man from Phoenix?
Booker?
No, not Booker.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Is that if you give the super max to these players, and it's very similar to, even as far as Doncic, like you give the super max to these players, it's harder, or you have to trade for a super max, or you have to trade for a max type of contract, or you're just going to deplete your team. So you say Jimmy Butler, I think was at 48 to 50 million this year. So you got to trade Golden State, or you got to add some pieces into it to be able to trade a $48 million player. And in my opinion, I like Jimmy, but I'm not counting nobody's money, but 48 million for Jimmy, what do you get back for that? Like, you damn near got to get. I think
he's been worth it. He's been worth it for the Golden State so far. Like they won
48. But the thing, 48 million. Like, how do you add another piece to that? Like, look at. So I'll give a prime example, right? Say for instance, LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh when they went to Miami, they each made $16.5 million. And they had to work within, like they had to have their agents working together to be able to, like, I think D Wade ended up, one of them got like an extra 100,000 just because it was available. It was like, one was
D Wade was the one who got the
16.6 and other one 16.5, but they had to literally work it so they can get all of these players together. And then the rest was just like, throw a Ray Allen in here, or throw a Mike Miller in here, or throw it was really them, like they had to work with such small
if you look at Phoenix
outside of them three.
Yeah, if you look at Phoenix, all you're gonna get when you sign two people to maximum contracts, all you're gonna get is people that really want to play with them or roster fill up spots, right? Because it's like if your salary cap is 89 million and you paying somebody 50 million, you only got less than half of it to share with the rest of the players, right? So
you can't sign anybody outside of Jimmy and Steph. After that, Kuminga screwing up, right? Like Kuminga not signing his extension. He ain't been playing. It's like you're not. It's going to end up coming like they're going to say go out there and get it. I was watching this video with Jeff Teague, and Jeff Teague was saying how when he was in Atlanta, I didn't realize this was a thing, but if you're a restricted free agent, they essentially tell you to go out
find you the money.
Yeah, go out there and get what you can, and then we can match that. So essentially it's like you're working harder to make sure that you get more money. Now if you're unrestricted, it is what it is. Like, we ain't got to, worry about it. But the team, even if you go out there and get a contract, the team could still, come back and say, all right, we'll just sign you today. And that happened to Jeff Teague with what's his name? I can't remember the white guy that's over the Atlanta organization. He's still over it too. But he ended up like saying, fuck you to that manager, and then the manager called him back and like, nope, we signed you, so you got to come back and play. So I was like, that's kind of
same thing kind of happened to Gilbert Arenas. And don't you love how these players are telling you stuff that was back in that days? You was like, oh shoot, that's what happened. That's why he left that, because like
it makes sense.
Gilbert
Arenas, he was talking about the 124 that he could have got, but he took 111, and
which was a whole lot for a guy that wasn't. We was drafted second round too, right?
Yeah, second round. Yep.
Yeah. So,
but the thing was, he fired his agent. Before that, he was like, "Why am I gonna give you $4 million if I'm a max player? You know, so it's kind of like if you know your value and you get like LeBron doesn't. Only reason LeBron has an agent, if anything, is because it's the people that he work with, like his boys. Like Maverick is his guy. Like he does shows with Maverick. You know, so but you don't need an agent
Chris
if
Paul
you're
is his agent, right? Because not Chris
yeah.
Paul.
Chris Paul. Yep.
Chris Paul. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It don't make sense to necessarily like you just make sure your boy get paid in that sense. But if you have like you don't the things that you're
that's
kind
of being cheap because at the end of the day, Dave Faulkner used to have to go out there and work the deals like Jeff Teague was talking about. That's what Dave Faulkner used to talk about. He's like, yo, I created a market for my players. Right. Mm-hmm. I remember we talking about teams in the NBA, and I remember when Chris Webber went to Sacramento, and he was like, dog, I'm in the middle of Cowland, right? But then he turned that whole franchise around. There's not a lot of players that can do that in this day. Like there's not a player that I can see go to a franchise in the middle of I guess I'm lying because OKC they didn't draft.
It's players that can, you know, but you got Shai Gilly, who, but you know, with him. He was a part of the Chris Paul trade, you know, and what was it for the Clippers?
Yeah, he was with the Clippers, right?
Yeah, so it's just
that's why I said, and that's why I had on my handy dandy shirt because we was going to talk about the playoffs.
All right, no doubt. Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like to see, you know, where. So to the original question, like, do you think that shadow of Jordan will ever be removed? Because, like I said, you have players. Say, for instance, before Jordan, I mean, it was we looked up to Dr. J. Or we heard about the stories of Wilt, and it's just like I feel like those players, like you ask a kid who Wilt Chamberlain is, they won't even know who that name is. Hell, they might not even know who Magic Johnson is. So do you feel like that shot? I feel like so let me get my idea on it, right? I feel like I feel like with the NBA and with it growing. Like, say for instance, Nike is the owner of the jerseys now. So you have like some jerseys that be Nike, some jerseys that be Jordan. I mean, it's all under Nike, but I feel like putting the Jordan logo on the jerseys.
Yeah, on the Pistons jersey.
Yeah. And that feels so disrespectful. Like I have a Luka jersey, and when I got
you got a Luka jersey.
Yeah, first white boy jersey I've ever gotten in my life. And
why? Wait, let me peel this back. Why did you get Luka jersey?
I fuck with Luka. Luka's dope to me. Luka is one of I would get a Jokic jersey, but I like Luka's game more than I like Jokic.
All right, so I'm sorry, but we got to talk about this because I can't stand Luka game. It's ugly.
I love Luka game.
It is. I don't understand how he gets away with it. The dude dribbles up to his waist, and it's right in the face. So tell me, what about the game do you love?
The dope part about Luka's game is he changes the pace and he makes everyone play to his speed. Same thing with Jokic. Same thing. I don't want to just name white players, but same thing with Bird. Hell, same thing with Jordan. Jordan was just more athletic, but Luka, when you're playing Luka, you may think like, oh well, he's overweight, he's slow. You can say the same thing about Barkley, or not about Barkley, but about Bird, where Bird had some athleticism to him, but
off the ground, right?
Yeah. But the thing was, Bird would kill you. Bird would go. You see Luka, you be like, damn, he got 50 points. And you'd be like, how did he get 50 points? He's just doing these players way worse because he's making them play to his speed. That's dope in the play. Like a lot of players can't do that. Like you see a team like Houston, right? Just young dogs just want it. Like, they end up being the second seed. But that type of team is like, they're so fast paced, but when they play like a Luka, they're not slowing him down. They're not making him play to their pace. He controls the game, and that's just dope as hell to me. Like when you could just control the pace of the game and still go off and damn near average a triple double, that's dope.
Okay, so now Djokovic, I agree with because Djokovic can pass. He can get a rebound. That baseball pass.
But he's
He's one
so
of the.
fucking slow. Like
Yes,
like
and
he's slow as fuck. But like, so another part about him, man, thing that pissed me off about Jokic. I like Jokic, but the thing that pissed me off about it, this is from an organization standpoint, but I still don't understand why they gave him number 15 for like Carmelo's jersey. I don't understand that at all. It makes no sense to me. Why would you give
maybe he
him a
just
number
picked
of a
it though.
player that played like 9
Yeah.
or 7 to 8 years and pretty much brought a light to your organization?
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
gave
making the Western
it.
Conference Finals, just being
Yeah,
really good,
gave
being
it.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, gave
Why
it.
would you give him number 15? That makes no sense to me. Like, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like they gave him the number not thinking that he was going to be that good. Or they either gave him the number thinking he wasn't going to be that good, or they gave him the number to wipe out what Carmelo did in Denver.
So the worst part about Djokovic is his number.
Huh?
The worst part, you said the thing that pissed you off about Djokovic is his number?
Yeah, Jokic is that's the only thing I don't like about him is his number, because they shouldn't have gave him Carmelo's number.
What if he asked for it?
No, so where it normally works in organizations is if you plan on retiring someone's jersey, or like Melo's jersey should be retired in Denver for one, because the way Melo before Melo got there, Denver tied for the worst record in the league. Mm-hmm. They was in the playoffs every year while he was there. He brought success to the organization. I'm not saying that you have to win a championship to bring success. Like, just making Denver, like Denver lost to eventual champions. Like, Denver lost to San Antonio when they won it. Denver lost to the Lakers when they won it. It wasn't as if they were just being knocked out in the first round. They had success. You know, it's just they went into the eventual champions.
I'm gonna challenge it a little bit, right? Because I talked about Chris Webber going to Sacramento. The Sacramento, you think Sacramento should retire? Because he brought a whole new vibe to Sacramento.
That's not even without a question. Like, this jersey should be retired in Sacramento. Like, but I mean, it should be retired as a Wizard or within Washington. But him in Sacramento, yes, his jersey should be retired, not in Golden State.
See, like I thought like if by that measure Golden State should have. I mean, not Golden State, but Sacramento should, because like you said, he brought a championship caliber.
They damn near should have won it. Like,
yeah. Big Shot Rob got him twice, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I mean, if you brought some success to the organization, even was it Mitch Richmond?
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch Richmond, Hall of Famer, jersey retired. I can't remember. Weber jersey might. I gotta see, but it might actually be retired out there. I can't remember, but if not, it should be.
I don't think so. And then so Rich Richmond, you thinking Run DMC, or you thinking in Golden State?
No, not in Golden State at all. He was gone after his second year in Golden State. Yeah, they weren't together that long. But he did his thing, playing for Sacramento though. But but do you think that shadow can be removed from the NBA or no, from Jordan?
No, I don't think that the Jordan shadow, because Jordan brought global success to it, and I think with that Dream Team and everything else that Jordan was a part of, and I think with the documentaries and everything else, it just extends that. Like, you see, like, real files and stuff back then, and now you see these files. Like I said, I think the NBA is just soft, and I know that they're protecting their the numbers, because they want those players to have a longevity or whatnot. But I think until the NBA get tougher again, now it'll be a different type of. So like my son might think that, hey, this is the most highly skilled NBA as possible, which I think they have more high skilled players now. I just think that because the narrative is that they soft, and that like you ain't seen no real punches being thrown. And I think
well, you can't though. I mean, they're not going to allow that.
they say that, but let the right person throw a punch, and I think he like
they're going to be out forever though. Like you look at the league in the 80s and 90s, even part of the 2000s, but mostly in the 80s and the 90s. And I feel like Jordan was a part of that with the whole Jordan rules and stuff like that. It's like, Jordan, when the league lessened the impact as far as the violence that was going in, that's when Jordan was starting to win, because Jordan couldn't just go to the whole, like sometimes they just be like, oh, that's just a hard foul. Like, no, that gets you kicked out of the game. That gets you suspended for 2 games. That gets you suspended for 5 games. And it comes down to intent. Like, I think the bottom line when you talk about like within the violence, and you may feel this way or may not, and I'm pretty sure you do, because that's just life. You don't want to fuck up the money. And that's the bottom line. Like, you don't want to. And then too, when you fuck up the money, it puts it's all like, say for instance with Ja, right? Like Ja with the gun shit, like with him getting getting fined $75,000, then he started doing all the other grenades exploding, or the bullshit that he came up with that he said it was. But when you have a reputation, now it's hard to escape that reputation, which fucks up the money. So if when they said they've been doing the gun gesture, for forever, but when he does it, it's like I don't know if you remember back in the day where Gilbert Arenas really fucked up his career. Only thing Gilbert Arenas did right in that shit was to sign that $111 million deal. But Gilbert Arenas, when he got suspended, he came back, was in the circle, and then was putting up the guns like this and shit. He got suspended again. Like, and he hasn't been the same player in the league. Gilbert Arenas was a dog. Like, Gilbert Arenas was all NBA, all-star. You look at after that shit, like he didn't and they're coming out with a documentary too, I think comes out this week. But Javaris Crittenton, the dude that he got into it with in the locker room. Yeah. That dude, I don't know.
And he in jail for murder now? Didn't he shoot somebody in the line? Yeah.
He just got out.
Oh, that's what's up.
He just got out last year or the year before. I just remember Dwight Howard, because I don't know if you knew this, but him and Dwight Howard were on a high school team together or whatever. They won a state championship. So that was like his boy or whatever. But but I just remember seeing something like Dwight Howard celebrate Javaris Crittenton. But like that dude, like he was a fucking was he a blood or a Crip? I don't know. But he was a gang member when he got out to LA. He just kind of went down. He just spiraled out of the league. I want to say he was out of the league by and that happened in 2000. I want to say that happened in 2009 or 2008. I think it was 2009. And he was damn near out the league by 2011, for murder shit, So,
yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I know what you're saying, the violence, but I'm just talking a hard foul as being a hard foul. Ain't nobody trying to hurt nobody. It's just a hard foul. You trying to grab somebody. You trying to wrap somebody up, and then Stu Isaiah.
I don't like that dude.
Why?
I don't know why. I like the Pistons. I don't like him on the. I just don't. I don't like he. I mean, of course, he's a talented individual. He's in the NBA. He's in there for a reason. But I feel like he's in the league. He's on that team for muscle rather than to be an effective player. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Because with the muscle, but
last year Stu was shooting 3-pointers. Like he was knocking down 3-pointers last year. So this year he shot more 3-pointers last year. So he's getting skill. They just look at him like he's a muscle. I will say that, but I like he's one of them guys that you want on your team. Like I could see you want them on your team to be the enforcer or whatever. But I'm so tired of these people that especially now getting to know these players and when I say soft, I mean they soft in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't think he would ever do that to me. He hurt my feelings to say,
but that's life though. That's everybody. I feel like the whole world is soft these days. I mean, this goes to our upbringing. Like the whole when you get into the I don't want to go all deep into it, but you go into the LGBTQ community, you go into the women's community. Like if you say anything about anyone that, like, say for like I give you a prime example. If you go on Facebook and you say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like if you say I hate Viola Davis acting, niggas will people will come for you. And it's not that you don't like, I mean, you may not like her acting, but just because she's a black woman and you not liking her acting, it comes to the question.
That's how people
can don't you like her acting?
That's how, because people can apply it to anything they want to, right? I don't like Donald Trump. And like if you do like him, that's on you. But
look at it like this. If you say, like, say if me and you talking, right? I mean, in your example, you say, I don't like Donald Trump. And I'd be like, I like Donald Trump. You're going to be like, for real? Why? Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? I'm just saying, like, that's just what, like, I feel like we don't allow people, like I said, I don't fuck with Donald Trump, but I'm just saying, like, if somebody do, it's like, it's almost like, it almost equates to, you might be racist, or you have
because they change the stuff into binary stuff. Like it's not binary. Like if I'm not pro-life, if I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-abortion.
Yeah, nah, that's a great example.
I'm not right. I just don't believe that I got. I will never make that decision myself. So you know what I'm saying. So like, you can stretch it to whatever narrative you want, but that's not what I said. I said I'm not pro-life. I'm pro-decision, right? That don't mean I'm pro-abortion. But and so like I don't like Donald Trump. Has Donald Trump done some things that I do like? Yeah, we gonna go back to the 1099 situation, right? I didn't always have healthcare insurance, so like he allowed me to not have health insurance and pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I mean, he's released some black people that have been on death row or that's been in prison that shouldn't have been in prison, right? But I don't like him. I don't F with him. And like, if you said it and you're rocking with me, like you, and then if you like Donald Trump and that's your cup of tea, cool. But like, if you get to the point, like, I don't have a problem with you because you like him. I might have a problem with you if you don't like me because of me not liking him. You know what I'm saying? I will have a problem with some of his policies and stuff that you agree with, but you know, to each his own. I like the fact that dude said he was going to do something and he went and did it.
Yeah, even if I don't like it, like he still, got whatever he was trying to get across done.
He said government moves slow, but I move fast, and he got in there and did what he's 2025. That's his dream. He living it. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you want to hear some of the dumbest shit? I was talking to this chick one time, or I was having a conversation, and she had said that I didn't vote for Kamala because I didn't feel that she can win. And I was like, do you hear yourself? Like are you like, don't give me like, but she voted for Trump. And that's, I mean, like I said, whatever vote you have, like I'm never like, that's just who you are. But it was it was a twist in what she said. She said she didn't vote for Kamala because she didn't think she had a chance to win. I was like, well, she only had, like, it's an oxymoron. It's like, why would you should vote for somebody to give them a chance to win versus not voting for them to say, because I don't, like, you're literally not giving them more chance to win by voting for the opponent. Like, if that's
voting against them, you actually taking away from them. You could have went and voted for the Green Party.
I've ever heard it. Like, I was like, word. I mean, I want to say dumbest shit, but I mean, the logic behind it, just didn't it didn't really sit well with me. I was just like,
There is no logic behind it. So
yeah.
you're right. That's the dumbest shit she could have ever said. I didn't think she could win, so I voted for the winner. Like, duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you just said. But
Oh,
to each
shit.
his
That
own.
shit blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute, hold up, wait, what you did? What? Like,
You
why?
voted for somebody who said he would grab your daughter by the crotch and she'll like it, right?
Yeah, I
Without
mean, but
her
look at it.
permission.
But that's just like, say for instance, like you had like say Desiana like is up against somebody within the competition or something like that, right? And you be like, well, I don't think my daughter can win, so I'm going to vote for the other person just because, like, that makes
I'm
no,
a bet for the other person because yeah,
yeah,
at least
it's
I can
like
make some money off of it.
right, like now if it's a betting thing and all that stuff, that's a whole different. Like if you say, hey, look, I mean, I want the Lakers to win, but if I had to put my money on it, I'm gonna say Boston's gonna win it. Like then you put your money on the best wager, but like this ain't you're not this isn't your money. Like this isn't like that shit was just crazy to me. I was like, word, like that's how you and like I said, I mean, she made it make sense in her head, but I was like, that doesn't make sense to me, and that's okay. Like, but I agree to disagree. You vote for whoever you want, and I'll vote for whoever I want, but I'll never use that type of logic to say, well, I'm voting for this person just because I don't think the other person has a chance. I was like, no, I'm gonna vote for the other person to give them a chance to win. That's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. Don't worry about who can win. Who vote for the person that you feel can do the best job for you. Like
That part.
regardless, if you lose, you lose. So like
Yeah.
that's like saying, hey, that's like saying like the best rap album ever was Hard Not Life. You know what I'm saying? Like I can want that to
Yeah,
be the
but
best,
but it may not.
but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's my vote for that, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, like yeah, let's
Yeah.
how does that work?
Right.
But
It's crazy. All right. Well, let's get to we gonna wrap this up shortly, but let's go over the NBA predictions that we got for this week. We got you got Minnesota beating Lakers yesterday. You got New York, the Knicks beating Detroit. You got the Pacers beating the Bucks. You got the Nuggets beating the
beating the
Clippers.
Clippers, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you feel like the winners of those first few games or the first game yesterday? Do you think that they're going to win a series? Like out of those series, who do you think are going to take it out within this first round?
Uh, I watched the Detroit game yesterday, so I think Detroit can turn it around pretty simply because they actually was up in the fourth
Hmm.
and just kind of collapsed. But I think that series is probably going to be a strong series, and
Hmm.
I'm kind of jaded, so I'm gonna go Detroit anyway. The Indiana Milwaukee thing is kind of crazy because if Dane come back, I think that'll be a lot more. I think that'll be a lot more situated.
Hmm.
I think it'll be a lot more bang for bang. But Indiana always seems to be that team that pulls more off than what they have, right? I think you got again we go play with talent and they're able to pull off be better with the talent they have. Rick Carlisle is like that. I don't know wherever
I
he
fuck
goes, he
with Rick
can pull.
Carlisle, man. I liked him in Dallas. I liked him in Detroit.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't. I mean, they had said he lost the locker room, but even in Detroit, he had like 255 uh
Seasons, yeah,
season
win
wins.
seasons. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I still don't. I don't like fucking Larry Brown, but I mean, I don't have nothing against Larry Brown. I just felt like they just gave him a championship, honestly. But anyway, that's another
yeah.
day.
They always had to change. I mean, Phil Jackson did the same thing from Doug Collins, right? Took it
Listen,
over when it was.
I don't hold Phil. Look, if you look at all of the great coaches or coaches that you consider great coaches, they had the best talent at that time, and you should win with the best talent. And not to say that it didn't come down to like coaching styles, with like Phil and the triangle and stuff like that, but Jordan was coming. Like Jordan was about to win. Like I mean, granted, like say for instance the '91 series, a lot of players got hurt for the Lakers, because the Lakers won the first game. Then what's his name? I forgot his name. Byron Scott, James Worthy. They both got hurt like in the second and the third game, but the Magic was kind of just Kareem was gone, so Magic was kind of just out there by himself, just waiting to lose at that point. But all that being said, Jordan was coming. Like whether it was Phil, whether it was Collins, whether it was whoever, like Jordan was going to win.
Okay, so with that being said, what do you feel about Mark Price? I mean, Mark Jackson. I said Mark Price.
Oh, Mark Jackson got played too. Yeah. Mark got played too. Like it's crazy. I read this thing. They were talking about something with like how religious he was, but if you look at it, he hasn't coached since Golden State. So I feel like there's something that's out there on him that he doesn't want to have a certain light on him. And I could be totally wrong, but I feel like there's some type of light that would happen, or he just agreed with some not defended, but he agreed with some, what's the word? Where you hurt somebody. I can't think of the word right now. But I feel like there's some agreement out there to say, well, as long as you don't coach, this article don't come out type of shit.
So you feel like he. But if you think,
I feel like it's
all the coaches and stuff that
Mark Jackson should be coaching the team. Mark Jackson is a good coach. But
I mean it's systems and everything
victim,
else.
That's what I was victim. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's stuff out there. Like I look at Detroit and how like we won our last championship against the Lakers in 2004.
Should have been one in 2005 too.
Yeah.
That was 7. Shit.
Yeah, I was actually at that game too. I was like, God dang on Sean Elliott. But different players got to fit the different coaching style, and then the coaches have to adjust to different player style. And I think you got some teams that's better at doing that, and you got because OKC is one of them teams that I feel like they retool all the time. They just haven't gotten over the championship hump. But yeah,
OKC is coming. Like one thing that's gonna kill OKC, and this is go with all this, is gonna be the contracts. They're not gonna be able to re-sign Chet, or they're gonna re-sign Chet, and they're gonna have to extend Chet. They're gonna have to give SGA his money. What do you do with everybody else? I mean, if you can go out and get money somewhere else, like if I'm Jalen Williams, I'm gonna go out and get a bigger bag.
But see, they got to account for that by so like even the way they got Shea, right? They got to figure out if somebody's gonna leave, they leverage it, and I think that's what they do pretty good because they never go down to the bottom. Like they,
I mean, they lost Harden. I mean, you look at
they lost those 3, right? They lost Harden, KD, and
overall, but I'm saying like when they were re-signing, they re-signed Durant, they re-signed Russ, and then what's the dude, the center? Was it starts with a B? He's with Kerry
Serge.
Yeah, Serge Ibaka. Yeah. So when they signed Serge to that $50 million deal, they didn't have the money to sign Harden.
I think it was like $3 million that was different between that too. Like
talking about Harden. No. Harden. Yeah. They offer Harden 40. It was like 47 to 50. Houston offered him 80.
Oh.
So, but you got to look at. I mean, and this is the thing. Like, it's always unique to be on the outside looking at, because that's what we do. Because I'm not in the NBA, but hearing little stories like, say for instance, Houston don't have state taxes, so you go to Houston with 80 million and you're not paying state taxes, versus OKC 50 million, you're paying state taxes. Like, that's damn near 40 plus million a year that you would be walking away from, not 40 million a year, but that's 40 million over a duration of a contract that you're walking away from, over the next 4 years.
And you know what? I try to be like always bet on yourself to like bet on yourself, but then like I look at that Dennis Schroeder and
Mm-hmm.
him betting on himself and how he lost the bag
Oh, that nigga
by
screwed up.
not resigning. But like
Yeah,
I mean he don't got a
85
bad
million.
life anyway. Yeah, he still don't have a bad life, and he's
Listen,
still
80,
playing.
no, he's living great. I mean,
Yeah,
he's all right. But look at it like this, right? You got 85 million on the table. It was 75. It was 75 to 85 million on the table, and now you're signing four
league minimums.
$6 million deals.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you screw. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, can you imagine? Like 80 million is enough to make sure the whole family is taken care of for a long time. Versus like 4 to 6 million. Now you're living a lifestyle of an NBA player, and you still have to be, not to say you got to be cautious with your money. I mean, because you're rich, but at the same time, you can't just be. Maybe it just takes away a little bit from the ballering,
But
but
and you got to put it in perspective too. So like, what people don't say, like you making $6 million a year, right? And I never made $6 million, so I don't know how it rolls. But you're making $6,000 a year. You putting let's say you're investing in your product at least 1.2 million. Let's say you got taxes, which is 40% of that.
gotta buy your mama a
So
house. Gotta buy your mama a car.
right.
You gotta take care of your boys.
You
gotta
don't
make
have to take care of them because, like, if you do it right, they'll be able to take care of you and your and it long term. Like that's what I love
only
about
one
LeBron
nigga
James.
has done it right, and that's LeBron.
Uh,
like everybody else, they still got to take care of they like
it's-
LeBron is the only person that with Rich Paul, Maverick, all
well, see,
them
I thought
had to
Carmelo
force it.
boys after that, I thought I don't know, like I felt like they did some like was it $1 million worth of game where they got the podcast with those. It seemed like some of the people that Carmelo hung around with, they end up making it work for them too. I
It's
don't
just
know.
it's just interesting to see like I'm saying like from a like who Rich Paul is, who Maverick is.
Yeah.
Um
I mean,
and
but they also made rules around them too, so that's why they made him even bigger than life, right? So
yeah,
Rich Paul, they tried to make it so he couldn't be an agent unless he went to college.
yeah. I mean he
Yeah,
circumvented the process and made it happen.
yeah.
But it's just crazy that, like you said, I mean, they try to put things in front of them to say, no, you can't do this. Like, no, we can do whatever we want. Or like Rich Paul, I think the way that he went about it, and I can be wrong, but I thought what he did was he hired people to be able to do those things so he can get past that process. Because you don't necessarily have to have a like a
Well he shadowed the agency. He went to work for an agency that LeBron, like part of his contract was part of LeBron's first contract. He worked the agency, like he interned for the agency,
mm-hmm. No, and
and
that's
then
the
like
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, shoot, Maverick worked for Nike for a minute,
Yeah, but it was a player that got a New Balance deal instead of going to college. He got a New Balance deal, and he was working on his game that summer. He didn't go to college. You
Mhm.
remember him? Like, whatever happened to that dude?
I remember. I can't remember the player, but I remember he got because what's the name has a New Balance deal too. White boy for Cooper Flag.
Oh, he
Um,
do?
yeah, but he couldn't wear because it's a Nike school. He had to wear
Yeah.
Nikes for the school. But now he has a New Balance. He had a New Balance deal in high school, an NIL deal. He still has it. So when he goes to the league, he'll wear New Balances. And it was crazy too. Nike actually released a commercial or an ad that said. Something like it was when they made it to Elite Eight, saying something that are like you did it in these or something like it's something like pointing at like yeah, nigga, you got on Nikes like that's what you
Oh,
wanted.
they
And
did
like,
petty. They did petty.
yeah,
They
it
were
was.
petty.
I'll send it to you. It was some petty shit, but it was just interesting that yeah he couldn't even. But this is the whole shit I hate like sometimes with brands and stuff and like. One thing I don't like, say for instance, with Marcus Jordan, when Marcus Jordan went to, what's the school in Florida? Is it
University of
University
Central
of
Florida.
Central Florida?
UCF. Yeah.
Yeah, so he only wore Jordans even though they were an Adidas school, um, and like it was a whole hoopla about it. But it's like, well, I don't like when organization, like say for instance with Nike in that sense, to say, well, Cooper Flag, you have to wear these while you're here, but then you have like somebody that's like a Marcus Jordan, that the whole school is an Adidas school, that you're allowing him to wear Jordans out of uniform. Um, and it's little things like that that I mean, hell, I've been to Nike events or Adidas events. They're like, please, don't wear any other brands. And
Out
it's
of
like, well,
respect for out of respect for us, we we uninvite anybody wearing anything else. And I mean, I
right.
remember Jordan had somebody had a deal with Powerade, so they used to put tape around the Gatorade when they would hand it to him.
Mhm.
It might have been
Probably
LeBron.
Brian.
No.
I think that was Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's. I mean, shoot. I mean, this goes all the way back to Jordan. Putting the flag over the Reebok logo for the Olympics.
Oh, for the Olympics, yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
mean, I get it.
Hey, the dude name was Darius Baisley. He was the one who didn't go to college and went to had the internship with New Balance.
Yeah. What is he
No,
doing now? I don't.
it looked like he played for OKC, but I don't remember seeing him. Like,
He probably on the bench. I mean, I still look. I feel bad. Like, is Imani Bates? Is he on any team right now?
yeah, he on Cleveland team. He on
Oh,
Cleveland
okay,
team.
okay,
He was hurt this year, and he got to play in G League. He actually played a few games this year,
okay.
but I mean,
I
they
feel,
don't need him right now because they ball out of control.
yeah, I feel sorry for him. I mean, that dude should have. I
You feel
mean,
sorry for him?
yeah. I mean, his whole career was derailed. Like that dude he was a number one player in the nation, and he screwed himself up by betting on himself. He was supposed to go to Michigan State. He
Pulled out on Izzo.
he pulled
Yeah.
out on Izzo. Then he switched to Memphis. Went to Memphis. Didn't
Didn't
do
he play
much.
like a couple games or something and then left?
Yeah, he was in the they was in the tournament. He played those couple games in the tournament, left, and then but he still wasn't. I think he wasn't old enough to go to the NBA. So then it was something like he ended up transferring. Then he was going to Eastern, and then he just went through this whole little cycle of like that dude was definitely considered a first rounder at that time. But like I said, I don't feel sorry for him, but I feel like damn, like it's almost like a dream deferred type of deal where
Yeah,
it's
and I
like,
think he's still young and he still got an opportunity to make it work too. That's the one thing that so
but what
like you
about
can
like
call,
Deonta Davis, from Muskegon, like
yeah, Deontay, yeah.
yeah, it's just like
Uh
he screwed his career,
yeah. I mean, but it's they've had. I mean, Richard Dumas back in the days, like
What's crazy
Hayward.
about him? He got kicked out for weed though, or he
No,
got
he
in
got
trouble for weed.
cocaine. He was
No,
doing
I thought it was
cocaine.
weed. No, it was, if I remember correct, it was weed. It wasn't a control. I think I don't know. It
It
was
wasn't.
drugs. I want to say it was. I want to say it was weed because you remember what's name got in trouble for weed. But it was like
Isaiah Ryder, right?
no. Well, Isaiah Ryder and I was gonna say Robert Parrish. Robert
Oh,
Parrish had weed being delivered to his house though. So
oh yeah,
yeah,
the
but
chief,
but no,
Chief
it was
Rocker.
what Dumas got kicked out for. He wouldn't get kicked out of the league now for. Um, but yeah, Richard Dumas was that dude. He was supposed to, do his thing within Phoenix. So
Yeah, I mean he did when he came to Phoenix. He was doing really good, and then yeah, he just.
that 93-94 season, it was just like he kind of just disappeared.
I mean, but they still. With Chris Jackson slash Aflaq Mahoof, I thought like
One of my
the
favorite
thing that
players,
derailed it. Yeah, and the thing that derailed this was
the
him
prayer.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
dog, that's ridiculous.
Mhm.
I enjoyed. He had a documentary. I didn't know
I
he was
watched
from Mississippi.
Yep. Nah,
Yeah,
Mahmoud was a beast. I mean, I don't know if you remember him at LSU. That, like I said, that's when I really start because he was playing. He was like his first year, his freshman year, he averaged like 29 points a game. Like,
yeah,
but that was players weren't going to the NBA. Back then after like 1 year, like, and he wasn't
yeah. It'd
that
be like
known.
3 years.
He ended up playing with
Yeah,
Shaq. He played with Shaq, and then he ended up going to the league. I think after his third year, but might have been his fourth, but I think it was his third year. But all that man said is like when he came to the league, like he was killing it, you know. And I didn't. It was crazy to see him with, you know, Tourette's and everything like that, like where, you know, his head, you know, be going back a little bit and all that shit. But he was like, he was good as fuck. But you know, I mean, and he said it in this documentary. He was like, I started to see the minutes getting less. And you know, I started playing behind these players and blah blah blah. But Mahmoud was giving everybody the business.
The business. They basically sat him down for a year in Denver because he had, you know, found his faith or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so like I don't feel like, and I know people might be like, yo, that was a bust of his season, but as long as he good with himself, I can't be mad at him.
Nah, I mean, look, stand for what you believe in. You know, that's what I mean. I always feel like there's ways to do it, but I feel like we learn from the ways that other people have done it that, you know, that might not have been. I mean, because even he said that I probably shouldn't have done it in this way. You know,
hindsight is 2020, right? It's like
yeah,
at
it's
the
crazy.
same,
You know,
like,
listen,
because I felt like
I
that was the best thing about it, because he lived his truth and was like, yo, I'm not like, this is America.
Yeah, like I did what I did for the reasons that I did it. I probably could have did it better, but I'm still okay with the results. And that's just what it is. Like I said with Javaris Crittenton, it's like, bro, like you became a full out gang member and you had NBA talent, you know. And like I said, even with Gilbert Arenas, you know, Gilbert Arenas was like second team All NBA, you know, and that's, in my opinion, that's really the only reason why he didn't get pushed out of the league that quickly. But I mean, you saw Gilbert Arenas on, like, it felt weird to see him on Orlando or for Memphis or seeing him play with these other teams, you know, where he was a dog in Washington. You know,
and Orlando wasn't gonna let him play the way he liked to play. That's my point. I'm gonna go back to Orlando. Mm-hmm. Orlando is these are the people from West Michigan. The owners is from West Michigan, and nobody is better than the team. That's why I don't feel like Banchero will get a super max from him. I think that they will trade him like they traded Shaq. I think.
So the tricky part about that is, right, you like, and I get the whole no players bigger than a team type of deal, but you need that player to, I mean, that, because that essentially means ticket sales, right? So if you don't have a draw, like nobody wants to see Wagner. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's talented, all-star and all that, but like nobody wants to see a center, right? So if you have a player that's like, say for instance, Cade in Detroit, like Cade is an all-star now. Cade is the draw to Detroit. If Detroit doesn't max him out, which they will, but if Detroit doesn't max him out, he leaves. So now ticket sales are down because your most famous player at the time is gone. So the same thing with Orlando is like, I feel like Shaq leaving Orlando was some I feel like it because when you see Shaq's personality, and then like it almost like it, I don't think that was just Orlando doing that. I think that was, you know, part of Shaq's ego. It was like, well, fuck y'all, I'm going out here, I'm gonna do this, and y'all gonna be mad about it, and y'all go, you know, y'all ain't gonna get over it, and y'all gonna miss me, you know. Mm-hmm. Whereas Banchero or Apollo, I think that he's great enough to go ahead and max, but he's not an issue where, you know, where he's ego driven, right? So in what, I don't care how you look at it, LeBron is ego driven, right? LeBron controls his narrative on where he's going to play, who he's going to play with, blah blah blah. I don't think Banchero is there yet. You know, he could get there, but I mean, I just feel like it's certain players like Jordan or LeBron or even, you know, KD at this. I mean, KD's, even though he's on the other side of his career, that they control who they play with. Like they're like, well, fuck it, shit, I ain't gonna be like one of the things, like when Durant was talking about being traded in the middle of the season, he's like, he essentially said, I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
That's I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at his his response, he was like, yeah, like who wants to move in the middle of the season? Like that was literally how he's like, man, I just shoot, I'm comfortable where I'm living at right now, but we'll see
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah.
the
I don't think they should have gave him that much power. I think they should have traded him anyway. But they, because he didn't need no extension. Again, so when we look at Carroll, right?
season.
Does he elevate the team to a new level, or is it just
No,
the
he does.
playoffs?
He does.
I,
They
eh,
are like I put it like this. Orlando, the sucky part about Orlando this year was injuries. They were
injuries, yeah,
all injured at the wrong
and they
time.
all had the same injury. I was like, how
Yeah.
the heck do all y'all
Yep.
get the same injury?
Yep.
Like, yeah,
Now
yeah,
saying that, I can like with them all playing now, I don't think it'll gel just because like playing in these amount of games that helps with them gelling. I feel like them talent wise, coming out the East. I mean, you talking Cleveland, you talking Boston, um, the Knicks of Detroit. However that series plays out. I mean, with the Knicks being the third seed, um, it's like I can't like sometimes you got to look at perspective. I mean, look at it from what the rest of the conference is doing. Orlando's not getting past the second round, in my opinion, at this point with
it,
those three other
but
teams, three
I will
top seed teams.
say that it is, and so that's why I go back to the Supermax. Supermax, you change the team. Mitchell for Cleveland changed the team. The dude
Mhm.
changed the team. I don't see that same effect with Banchero. I I don't see him taking over. I don't see him taking over a game at the end. I don't see him having the effect. Like when I think max player, I think uh somebody who changes the dynamics of the team. Now Banchero, what would you ever double team him?
Yeah. So you got to look at it like this, right? You got,
Uh
I'm going to say top 30 players. The
uh
top 30 players, say on whether it's two on one team, whatever, he's a top 30 player.
based on his
With it,
numbers.
huh?
I mean, because
Yeah,
Kevin Love
yeah,
used to be
I'm
a
saying
top player.
impact too. I mean, you got to look at it from the standpoint of are there are there 30 players better than him? Like talent wise, like even impact, all that stuff. But are there 30 players in the NBA that's better than him? And I don't think so. I mean, I think you start to get around like 10 or 15, and then like he fits like within like 10 to 15 range for me. And I mean, I might be able to squeeze him in the top 10, but he's been hurt. But
No, I can't see. I can see him getting 20 after 20. I think it's 20 better players than him. And when I say 20 better players, I'm saying it's players that. So
that's a tough
looking
list. I
at his,
mean, so say for instance, I'll name some, right? So you got Jalen. I'll say
Mhm.
Jalen Brown. I'll say Jason Tatum. I'll say LeBron. I'll say Luca. I'll say Booker. I'll say I'll say AD. I'll put AD in here.
uh,
I put Shy.
Wembley.
I put Shy. I put Jokic. I put mm, I mean now,
LeBron.
huh? I said LeBron. So you
Oh,
got
okay.
eight. You got eight right there, right? This is where I say Banchero like kind of fits within the mix. Like, I mean, I'm
Uh,
just naming those off the top of my head. Of course, there may be a player that's better than him or not. But when I get to eight, it starts to get like, but I like I like his game. Um, and I can't really think of too many that I would put above him. So I'm saying this as in he's a so okay. So really back. If
Curry. You got.
if, if you're saying 20, even at
Uh-huh.
20 players out of 400 some players, those 20 players are going to get the max amount of money.
Okay.
Because you could throw Steph in there, you could throw. I mean, like you could throw the numbers in there, but like the 20 to 30 players are going to get the max money. Like Jimmy is not better than Banchero. Jimmy Butler.
You- uh, his body of work is better than see like so would you put Draymond you don't think you think Draymond is a better player than Banchero?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
See,
that was a strong hell no. Like Draymond, look, Draymond couldn't. This is the thing. Draymond could not have Steph, Jimmy, or even like at the time Clay or Wiggins playing the game. He's still going to give you 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Damn,
like that's what his stat line is. Like you look like say Scottie Pippen, right?
Uh-huh.
Scottie Pippen averaged like 22 points when Jordan was gone. And it's like you are the point person and you're only averaging 22 points. You are the main focus on that team. Don't get me wrong, they won 55 games that season, or 55 or 57 games, but you are the point person, and the main person that was on that team for the duration of his career has averaged 30.5 points a game, and you're not replacing that number in no shape, form, or fashion. Like that just like don't get me wrong. I think Scotty's a good player, but I mean sometimes I feel like Scotty's elevated because of Jordan, and you know
it was his defense. It's the stuff that don't show up though too. That's the hard part, right? It's the stuff. It's being able to be like, yo, he guarded like. So I ain't gonna say you got to check the stats of the people playing against him. Like it's just to me.
Scotty got thrown on that Olympic team because of Jordan.
He represented though. He represented when he got there though too.
I was watching this interview with Isaiah Thomas. It might have been I forgot the name of that show that used to come on NBA TV where they used to have like all of them around just talking, and Isaiah was talking. He was saying, you know, I'm okay with Jordan talking, but you, Scotty, like you know, like it's almost like Scotty, keep your stay out of it. It's like the
grown folks is talking. He said this kids stay.
But you, Scotty, like no, but like in it's under it's like I think Scotty is a great player, but I feel like Scotty was more replaceable than a Jordan was. Like you couldn't replace Jordan,
right? So on those lines, let's go back to Banchero.
I think Banchero was replaceable in Orlando.
Ooh, why you say that? Because when he wasn't there, they were still doing pretty good until Franz got hurt.
I say he's not. Banchero could go and get you a bucket. I feel like they didn't have a player on there that can. That's the difference between like superstars and like good players, right?
So you think Banchero can go out there and actually just?
Let me say this: who's going to go get you a bucket for Houston versus who's going to go get you a bucket for Detroit? Like Cade is going to get you that bucket. I mean, of course, Jalen Green is good, but any player on that Houston team could get you a bucket. Well, you would have to depend on how the offense is ran to get you a bucket versus the ball is going to be in Cade's hands with less than 30 seconds to go in the game, or who's going to get the ball. Like, and that's the difference between like those top 20 players or top 30 players versus the rest of the league of who should get the max and not get the max. Like, and that's why I say with Jimmy, don't get me wrong, I like Jimmy's game, but like Jimmy was a victim of opportunity where it's like, well, we got to give him the money because it's there. So we got to give him $48 million, or we got to give him $45 million because the money's there. So that's how you negotiate with your agent. But it's just like Banchero's going to get that. Banchero's going to get it whether he stays there or not. And I mean,
Banchero is no Kevin Durant. Like, he's no Kevin Durant. He can't go and get you a bucket. He's no Damian Lillard. He's not going to be that person. He's not even going to be an AD. AD can bring it down the court and post you up. His post-up game.
He is. I think he is. Like, he's just that talented. Like, he's that talent. He's a great talent. Like, he's one of the players that surprised me.
So you think Evan Mobley? You think he's better than Evan Mobley? Evan Mobley?
Yeah, Yeah, from the Cleveland. Yeah,
Mobley? Yeah.
yeah, Evan
Why?
Mobley. Yeah, I don't like. He had like when you watch his game, his intangibles are, and he does a lot more than him too. Evan Mobley can get you a bucket, but he's more of a defensive presence, in my opinion.
He's a defensive presence.
Yeah.
He's a rebounder, and he
Hmm.
like Banchero. And I'm gonna tell you, the rebounds that he get, I don't know if them the rebounds are the high because he's long. He's 6'10", and I don't want to sound like I don't
Nah, nigga.
believe.
You can't just say the nigga getting rebounds because he's tall, man. Like,
No, I'm saying because he's shooting long and it's been long rebound. Like I've watched him for like the last 3 years, and I was just like,
Mhm.
I see talent. Don't get me wrong, because he got talent, but I think that the scheme is what's giving him where people see his game, right? I think the scheme. I think
But
he'll
that's
be a
the game.
Ben Wallace player. I think if you put him on Boston team, let's say you put him on Boston team and take away KP, I
Mhm.
don't know if he would fit.
I mean, he's young too. Um, I mean, he's not replacing. I'll put it like this: Orlando's team is built around him. The Boston team is built around Jaylen Brown and Tatum.
Yeah,
If you look at Boncaro, right, one thing that you can say about him, and this is what's the most important, is he's gotten better every year. He's not regressing. So when a player can has so much upside and they're just getting better, you kind of like he's going to get the max as he should. You look at Jaylen when Jaylen Brown was playing for Boston, he's still playing for Boston, but when Jaylen Brown started with Boston, he wasn't doing Jaylen Brown things that he's doing now that he was doing 4 years ago. Way different player. I mean, hell, he was coming off the bench at that point. Like Jaylen Brown has become way more important to Boston's offense within the past 4 or 5 years compared to when he first started. And you had Kyrie there at one point in time where Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were just young and playing and happy to be out there. That's in my opinion. That's why I feel like they got rid of Kyrie. They saw that they didn't need him, but it's just a matter of like I feel like Banchero, like I feel like he has way more upside as an example than Evan Mobley, and I feel like he's going to reach it minus injuries. Like you said, I mean they all had like some freak injuries all this year, but
yeah.
it's just how the ball rolls. Is he as good as Kevin Durant? I don't think no player is as good as Kevin Durant is a Kevin Durant, like I said, even on going like on the other side of the hill as far as his career, like Kevin Durant is the most efficient scorer I've ever seen play the game. Like of all players. Like he's a person that he comes in, he's going to get you. He's going to shoot the ball 12 times. He's going to make it eight or nine times. Like
Okay.
he's
With
that
that
type.
being,
Yeah,
I
he's
agree
that
with
type
you.
of player.
Kevin Durant is efficient as hell, and so like maybe that they're about the same height. That's why I say he to me he don't go out and get it like Kevin Durant go out and get it. I
Yeah.
think of like somebody like Damian Lillard, right? Damian Lillard has been averaging 25 points, 7 assists, or whatever. For I don't
Hmm.
know how long, right? I
Hmm.
don't. If you would like to replace a player, right? Like if they, I think he would do a better on Milwaukee team with that system with Giannis. But I don't see.
You talking about Carroll?
Yeah, Banchero. I don't
Yeah,
see like
yeah, yeah. I think so too. I don't
switch.
really think they need Damon at all. Like, I think he's a great player to have the ball in his hand at the end of the game and get you a bucket. But I mean, honestly, Milwaukee is better with a Drew Holiday than they are with a Damian Lillard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the pieces that you need for your team. But that's what I'm
So,
saying.
so,
Like
so
with
with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
The dude from Houston, what's his name? Is he a rookie? This is his second year. Huh? No, the center, the forward.
Oh, that I forgot his. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, he's awesome.
Now, would you rather him or Banchero?
Banchero. I'm taking Banchero over damn near like all of the superstars that I named. Like those are probably the only ones that I would not take. I would take
so
Banchero. I would take Banchero over LeBron at this point in time within his career. Yeah, I would. I feel like Banchero has more upside, and LeBron needs the ball in his hands to be more successful now. I feel like. I mean, I like the Luka. I like the Luka and LeBron combination, but it's going to run to the end when LeBron has to have the ball in his hand. I mean, I think that they'll tool up and they'll be able to win it next year, or whatever. But I think they'll if they make, even if they, I mean, hell, they struggled with Minnesota yesterday and lost.
Oh, but Minnesota was hot. Like they just that the 3-pointers was hot.
Dog, so, you only got to get hot for 4 games. You get hot for 4 games. You win the series.
That's unlikely though to be hot for 4 games. Like yeah.
I mean, Luka did it for 3 playoff series. I mean, like Luka got hot. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you say with Luka, right? Like Luka killed last year in the playoffs. I mean, they just ran into the Boston for the finals, but it's just I mean, Luka had like some 50-point games. Like Luka is second in scoring only to Jordan in the playoffs.
I'm gonna give you 3 names, right? 3 names, and you say it's versus Banchero, right? You say just 3 names, right? Mm-hmm. Jaren Jackson.
You better.
So you would go Banchero over Jaren Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay. Zion Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony Edwards.
That's one I would probably say no. Or I would say no. But Anthony Edwards is like one of my favorite players right now. He's young. He's still figuring it out. I feel like Banchero is like very filled out, and he's still getting better. Anthony Edwards just don't have the team around him. I mean, but if you ask me talent for talent, I'm taking Anthony Edwards over Banchero.
Okay, but not Zion. You're not taking. You don't think Zion has more talent and more like? I think Zion has more presence on the court than and a better creator than
on the court. He's averaging like 25, 30 games a season. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Zion. I think Zion.
So if Zion was playing, would you pick Zion or you pick Banchero?
That's a tough question to answer because he hasn't done it. like Zion. Look, I'll say it like this: Zion playing. He's a first. I mean, he has a potential to be an all NBA player, and he's an all-star when he's playing.
Yeah, but when he's playing, he's an all-star. Yeah, he demands.
But he's just not doing it. So it's like if you say, hey, you say bar any injuries, I'm taking Zion over Banchero.
Okay, what about Ja then?
So that one's tricky. I'll take Ja because of the talent, but I would not take Ja because of everything that comes along with it.
Okay. All right. So all right. I gotta relook at Banchero because, like I said, Banchero
on that court is like he's surprised. Like they were talking about Orlando, being a higher seed potentially earlier in the year before all of the injuries hit them. I mean, they were balling. Like you look at them first 10, 15 games, like they were doing all right.
So Orlando doesn't have a really good point guard. They don't have somebody who can take care of the ball and get them in positions where they can. When Cole is out there, he does a better job but it's the same point guard. All of them are the same, right? You got Cole, you got Scruggs. They're more Scruggs is more defensive orientated, but they're not good people to get put the ball in the places where they should be, or you're not really worried about them scoring, right? With a good point guard, I'm not sure Banchero is going to get his numbers the way he's getting them, because unless he keep getting to because if he
it's just like saying putting Chris Paul on that team, it changes the dynamic of the team.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic of the team.
Like you throw Damian Lillard on there, then Banchero numbers may go down, or you throw I don't know SGA on that team, his numbers go down. Or if you throw even if you throw like a Brunson on that team, his numbers go down. But if you look at that same dynamic in New York, you had Julius Randle, where Julius Randle was an all-star the year before Brunson got there, and then Brunson got there, then it's like trade Julius Randle. like that was the conversation that was happening. So it's just sometimes like Julius Randle was an all-star, and now they're like, he goes to Minnesota, and it's like, is he good enough to replace Cat? And it's like, well, Cat's an all-star too, but Cat could get his numbers with Brunson differently than Julius Randle could,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think right now, the system that Orlando is running is for Banchero. So I think
it's just like it's like Jermaine O'Neal in Indiana. I mean, listen, that's how teams are set up. Like you look at Jermaine O'Neal in Portland versus Jermaine O'Neal in Indiana, and the system ran through Jermaine O'Neal. So then Jermaine O'Neal averaged like 20 and 10. But
it didn't run through him until like maybe his third year. Like,
I mean, the ball was like when he got there in Indiana, the ball, he was being fit, like he was a main player, like he was an all-star.
But I think he was eating more off of the rebounds than he was eating off of plays being ran for him. Right? I think they would throw him in the post, and I think that I think he was because
it really depends.
Because he had to prove his stuff because he didn't prove anything in Portland, right? He was just a player.
He was all right. He was all right. He was behind Rashid, and it was like a ton of power forwards on that Portland team that he didn't.
Brian Grant
he didn't get a chance to get his burn, but playing for Indiana, like. I mean, I put it like this: the offense have to be ran for you in some sense to be able to average 15 plus points for a team. Like it may not be because you had Reggie that was still there, you had Ron Artest ended up coming there, and then you had Stack. Stack wasn't really like doing crazy numbers like that, but you had players that. I mean, it was a nice, efficient offense that Jermaine. I mean, like I said, Jermaine O'Neal was an all-star. So his numbers were, pretty solid,
Yeah. And I just think that and when I say this, I know that they have taken not Franz, Mo Wagner out of the game just so Banchero can get his numbers. And it don't matter what team they playing or whatever. That's what made me really just look at the NBA as like, yo, I'm not sure I like their product. I like it good enough to watch it on TV, but I'm not investing another $6,000 in the season tickets. You know what I'm
saying? But so I'll say this to you: the hardest part, at least for me, is watching a game in person versus watching it on TV. I have two totally different perspectives from watching it. Like it's a whole different way of thinking when I'm at the game versus when I'm just watching. And it's almost like video game, right? So, and this is why I was saying how you have so many seconds to be able to get things done. You are like the game is constantly moving around, but when you're in an NBA arena, it just looks like a regular basketball game. But if you're watching it like on television, it feels way different for me, at least from a perspective of being in person, if that makes sense.
All right.
I mean, because you're going to look at you be like, why they take him out? He get numbers, but I'll lean towards like the Jeff Teague thing, other interview I saw where he was saying that like he got traded back to Atlanta, and he was saying how his minutes, like they told him that you would only get no more than 19 minutes a game.
Yeah, because
Like,
Mo Williams
so
is there, right?
yeah, so as soon as you get to 18 minutes, they are ready to take you out, and you're not playing the rest of the game. No matter if you got 30 points, no matter if you got 20 points, if they telling you your minutes are limited to this, whether injury or no injury, that's what you're going to get. So it's always like taking those things into perspective, and like I said, it's little nuances that we don't see all the time. That that have like that's why I like listening to all of these podcasts and stuff like that.
And that's why I say, are they playing to play or are they playing to win? I don't want to be entertained. I want to.
But it's entertainment. That's what it is.
What I'm saying is, I don't want to be entertained by buckets thrown through. I want to be entertained by basketball being played at its highest level to compete. Andre Drummond messed me up. The dude, if he didn't get a touch on the ball, he was jogging back. Just the last basketball game I went to, I seen Trae Young give up on defense. You down there, just you got your cookies took, and instead of running back, you just look at the ref like, hey, ref, you ain't gonna stop the game? No, nigga, play ball. But
you got to understand too that they're operating with emotions. Like, they're not robots. Like, they can't like they're frustrated, they're pissed. I mean, I've seen times where Jordan gets stripped, and somebody get a layup, and there was the not Dennis Scott, but the Nick Anderson steal, whatever. Yeah. It's just like stuff happens where you could be frustrated. You're like, damn, like even Karl Malone being stripped by Jordan when Jordan got the steal and then came down and shot the shot in Utah. It's like, those moments, like you're in the moment. It's harder for us, like, and this is why I say, like, we're looking at it on the outside looking in, as far as like how Trae Young, is frustrated and pissed.
This is the play in, though. This is the play in. You lose, you go home. Trae Young is now home. The first 10 seed to ever get into the NBA final is there because Trae Young was bullshitting. And I'm gonna put it on Trae Young.
The reason
Trae
why
Young, you suck, nigga. You should have ran. That nigga, he sucked, dog. Because here's the thing, I can.
But they are an 8 seed because he played, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're there.
They should have kept Jamonte Murray. Jamonte Murray would have been a better option. Nigga, you suck.
Murray ain't doing nothing. In where's he in? Where's he at now? I want to say no. He's not in Utah. Collins is in Utah. But like, they're there because of Trae. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like almost being mad at. I don't know, being mad at.
Okay, you there because of Trae, and you out because of Trae. It's like 2 extra games, nigga. You paid 2 extra games, nigga. You suck, nigga. You should have not played in the regular season if you was gonna be like that. Because at one point, Atlanta was doing their thing, the pick and roll, alley-oop to.
Well, what's the name? Been hurt though. What's the big dude?
Capone.
Capella. Capella. Yeah, he's been hurt. So, but I mean, like, Trae Young benefits. I would have liked to see Trae Young, and we about to wrap up, but I would have liked to see Trae Young go to San Antonio and play with Wemby. Like, Trae Young, in my opinion, is one of the best pick and roll point guards in the league. And I feel like him and Wemby, because Wemby was eating off of Chris Paul this year, which is surprising too. Like, with Chris Paul, like, they said this is the first, like, Chris Paul played all 82 games and shit, which is like crazy for, like, he's not old, but it's just interesting that he played all 82 games. But
because he plays to win. Chris Paul is another one of the players that.
Chris Paul a hole too, though. Chris Paul do dirty ass shit. Like, Chris Paul is like I remember Chris Paul hit my man in the nuts. Like, in college.
I understand that because he's trying to win. You
don't hit a nigga in the nuts. Like, I would rather a nigga be frustrated at the end of the court after they lose the ball, as in Trae Young, than somebody.
You hit the nigga in the nose when you trying to clear the ball, nigga. You just
don't hit nobody in the nuts. That's some bullshit.
It is, but like, sometimes you gotta get taught. Like, he reaches down to my nuts, he getting an elbow to the head. Like, dog, what the fuck?
I'm just saying that whole shit is just as bad or even worse than the Trae Young shit. At the that's like maybe we just looking at it through a different lens. But Chris Paul is just a not to say a dirty player, but he's just I like Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is a dude that I would probably love to play with and hate to play against.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember him and Rondo, but we didn't get your picks. Okay, so New York and Detroit, who you rolling with?
See, New York and Detroit. I'm gonna say the Knicks. I would like Detroit, but I'm gonna say the Knicks overall. Like I don't know if Thibodeau go run them to the ground or whatever, but they have a better surrounding cast being able to be effective. Um, I like Obi a lot, and then Brunson is just Brunson, and I mean it just depends on where Cat. I mean, Cat showed up the other night or yesterday, but between them, I'm gonna say, and like I said, I want Detroit to win, but I'm gonna go just being a homer. But I think the Knicks take that series. You got Minnesota Lakers. I do think that game was a fluke yesterday, and the Lakers end up winning that series. Who you got? Bucks Pacers.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
Bucks Pacers. I'm gonna go Giannis. Honestly, I feel like Giannis could have one of those miracle runs. It just depends on Boston's durability. I do worry about Kristaps Porzingis if he can, remain consistent. But if Kristaps is playing, I don't see any team beating Boston. But I do feel like the Bucks will beat the Pacers. But it's weird with the Pacers because they're on a nice run. At first they was out of the playoff series or vision, and then they just started balling. And I mean, they ended up being the fourth or fifth seed. So
four. Yeah.
Then you got the Nuggets, Nuggets and Clippers. I really feel like the Clippers can win this series. I'm gonna lean towards the Nuggets. Oh, only reason why I would say the Clippers can win this series because Kawhi is back up, Harden is balling. I like Powell, but the thing the way I feel like they can potentially beat them is with the Nuggets not having a coach.
So that coach being new.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, new to being a head coach. He was on the bench. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. So then I'm gonna go.
OKC Memphis.
OKC Memphis. Ja reminds me of Chris Brown when Chris Brown decided to go left instead of going right after the Rihanna thing. As far almost like the Bobby Brown, like I'm gonna be the bad boy of R&B. I fuck with Chris Brown, like I like his music, but like that light is gonna shine on Ja, and I feel like it's gonna. I want to say it's gonna impact them in this series, but I just don't think that they have a chance against OKC. Honestly, OKC is just on this run where, like I said, if I had to pick any team to beat them, it would be the Nuggets or it'd be the Lakers. But they just got when teams are just gelling and you see it, it's just like they're playing like Shy don't even have to play, and they're still like gelling and playing great. So
they're one of the best teams in the league. When I say teams, I mean the whole team that bought into it, and they're trying it. Okay, Orlando, Boston.
I'm gonna go Boston. I think Boston wins it all, minus any injuries, as I mentioned with Kristaps. Or Porzingis stays. I mean, because he's balling when he plays. So I feel like he's going to be because you got Peyton Pritchard and who am I missing outside of Jaylen Brown and Tatum? What's the dude? Derek White. They just hoop like they just you roll the ball out there. You say who's going to win between any other team, and I wouldn't put any team above Boston. You got Cleveland Heat. I got Cleveland in that one. Then Cleveland runs to Boston and gets smashed. And then you got Houston.
Why do you think Boston smashes Cleveland?
I think Boston's a better team. I think the finals or the NBA is Boston's to lose. Boston didn't lose anybody. they're just feel like they're a better team than everybody else. Like if you look at them from top to bottom, they just have more seasoned players that's ready to play. So, but my dog is howling in the background, so so I'm a mute and then ask you your picks.
All right.
Sound like I'm killing her and shit.
You got to go out. All right, so I'm gonna go Orlando, Boston. I'm definitely going Boston. I'm with you on the OKC Memphis. I think Memphis could do a little. I think that series could go to 7 if Memphis does a miracle job like they have done in seasons before. But the way that stuff is going, I see them getting out of there in 5. Houston Golden State is going to be interesting because I think Golden State feels like they could beat them no problem. But I think Houston is hungry and they as long as the team keep going balls to the wall, I think that Houston gonna win that one, no problem. I think that was all the ones that I didn't answer, right?
Yeah, no, that's it. No, Houston, man, they look really good. I mean, they just like I said, they don't have like I said, Jalen Green is becoming that person, but they don't have like I like Dylan, and that's the other thing too. People don't like him, but I like Dylan Brooks. Like I think that, or I feel that if Dylan Brooks was still in Memphis is a whole different team, and Memphis has a chance at winning it. But Dylan Brooks is providing that fire for Houston versus Golden State. Now, I do feel like it's hard to stop Steph. So, I mean, but I don't feel like they have the team that they don't have the team that they had in the past. But I do feel like Golden State can win that series just based off of the experience of the players that's already there. But I don't see it overall. I mean,
I think Jimmy Buckets will get you a 2 instead of a 3, right?
Yeah,
like that's just it. He's gonna get you a 2 instead of a 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Klay Thomas to save you when you need him.
Yeah,
but
so how do you feel about that? Like, and this will be the last time. Well, how do you feel about Klay Thompson now in Dallas without Luka? Because like it's weird because I feel like Klay Thompson went because of Luka and Kyrie dynamic, but like, how do you feel about that?
Oh man, I actually think I'm not a real Luka fan. I think that part of him being part of Klay Thompson being there was to kind of like have that balance on the court. I think it'll balance out. Hopefully, if Kyrie get back next year, I think Dallas will still be a strong contender. Dallas has heart, and I think that's what they got going on for themselves. And I think Jason Kidd could bring the most out of them too, especially when his job is on the line. Because I think if he don't win next year, if he don't have a miracle run like he did last year, I think he not gonna have a job.
I mean, shoot. I mean, he was in Milwaukee with Giannis. That coaching didn't work out for him. I mean, So,
but didn't he quit that to go to Brooklyn or something? Like he quit. Like,
I thought he got fired. What I remember. No, what's the name went to Brooklyn? He ended up getting fired too. Nash. Remember Nash was brought there to coach
Kyrie, but I think Kidd went there right before him. Yeah, I forget. But I think being an NBA coach is probably the best job to have in the world. Like if I think about Mike Bullheisner, how he $40 million and don't have to work for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think that's luck though. I think that's like, I mean, so look at what's my man used to coach the Pistons. He got fired in his first year. You know what I'm talking
about. Monty.
Yeah. So I mean, he got fired in his first year, and he's getting paid for the next 4. He's still getting paid now. So, but
he ain't gonna take another job because he's gonna get paid now.
Yeah. So it's like, I would rather. I don't know. It's like, do you want to get fired from a job and still get paid for it, or would you rather be doing a job that you getting paid for? And it's like, as a
See
civilian,
with those,
as
with
as a
those
civilian, I'd rather get
organizations,
paid, but as a
yeah.
coach, I'd rather be coaching because like Monty
But
Williams
those,
coaches like high school basketball right now.
but those, but those, those organizations, right? Like what Milwaukee did to Griffin, I think was terrible. So like, it's some organizations that I'll say I'll take the money from, and the Pistons was one of them at one point. So I'm glad that they hired Bickerstaff, but I think they hired him late, too. So, but yeah, I'm saying if you go to a team and like and I think Monty was set up for failure because all he had was young bucks on that team, no veterans, and trying to get them to buy into.
Got fired.
Huh?
I feel like when stuff like that happens, I feel like it's based off of like I feel like it's things that we don't know, like that aren't getting out there. Like I feel like the Emi Udoka when he did he get? I don't think did he get officially fired. I think he did, but either way it go, like when that got out about dude like sleeping with one of the people's wives and stuff like that, it was kind of like I feel like they tried to hide that as much as they could.
No, see, I thought they came straight out with it. They was like, "Yo, dude, because we're gonna suspend them indefinitely, right?" Mm-hmm. And like you usually, and like Steven said, no, they fired him. He never came back.
I could have swore. Did he get?
No, he never came back. They fired him because Stephen A. was calling him out. He was like, "Yo, I've heard of other coaches doing worse, and like y'all put this out first, right? Y'all put this narrative out first instead of being like, yo, we just splitting ways because of irreconcilable differences, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, man. Thanks, man, for bringing me on. I know we've been on this for a long time, and we still have some more stuff to discuss.
Nah, so, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, when you bring me on another time, now we'll do that.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I mean, it's always family, so it's nothing but love, and then I always got a special love for you in general. So, it was great conversations. It was, like I said, I want to go stop the dialogue. Like I said, it was usually maybe an hour and a half, but I'm cool with the 2.5, 3 hours if it's like legit conversations, So I appreciate you and being able.
Damn, we is going into hour 3.
Yeah, that's what
I was thinking it was 1 o'clock. But yeah, we started at 12. Okay, but again, this man, like you were my best friend before I knew you were my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So like, I tell people, I was like, what? I was like, it was some difficult in there, like when
black people, man, why did I have to find out that you was my cousin? Why couldn't we just already be known?
Yeah, dog. Because like when your mom told me, like you called me Aunt Evelyn. She like to be called. Why? She like to be called Aunt Evelyn. Said, okay, here you go, lady. Aunt Evelyn, how you doing? Oh, she brought me a Christmas. Why you buy me a Christmas gift?
Because
that's my
nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's just always crazy to me. Like I always tell this story. Like I remember you was talking to Sean, my sister, and shit, and I didn't even know. Like I was like, damn, she kind of cute. And then like you was talking, you was like, man, I think that's your sister. So like we was talking, I was like, word, like, and then kind of find out that was what, like 7th, 8th grade, something like that, and finding out that was my sister through. I mean, she ain't no family to you, but finding out that was my sister through my pops, and finding that out just because you was talking to her, because I think she's at middle or whatever. But finding out that was my sister that way is like even crazier. Like. I was like, it's like she kind of cute. Like, oh shit, that's incest, nigga. Like, and your cousin hollering at her anyway. So it's just like,
So it's crazy the dynamics, but like, yeah, my best friend before, because like used to ride the big wheel down there. Oh, he got a big wheel. Yeah, he had the big wheel with the move. Like Shantae used to have all the nice toys.
A little bit. Shit, I'm telling you, man. Like you go back and look. I'm like, damn. I remember getting the Nintendo hella late. Like, everybody had like Nintendo and shit. I ain't had no Nintendo shit. I didn't get the Nintendo, the power pad and shit.
There was the stories because I ain't have it then. I ain't have it then. But remember, we used to go over people's house.
Yeah,
to play Nintendo.
I forget which Antonio it is.
Both of them. Antonio Hicks had one, and then Antonio Hendricks got one.
Yeah, I remember we used to go over there and play pro wrestling before school started and shit.
Yeah,
so.
Nigga used to be like, damn, nigga. Remember we used to go skating, didn't have a ride home?
Yep. $3. or they would give us the free tickets for from school and shit.
Yeah, a dollar ticket.
One time my mom y'all all win. I'm like, damn, I want,
And that was the time we had to ride. Remember, we walked home from one and walked up Uncle Charles' house.
Northway. It was on the. It was like right behind North. I don't know if it's still there or not. But,
yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. But right behind. I mean, I'm talking about like that skating place still there.
Yeah, the skating place is still there. Yeah, that's
crazy. Yeah, there was a day. Shoot, I remember it was almost a race ride walking from Bunker and shit.
Yeah.
Like that's when that's the first time I realized the difference. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I always felt like there was a difference between like black and white and stuff like that. But that was the first time like I saw people like pick sides. I remember I forgot the name of that dude. He was a football player, big ass
Ben Cross. Ben Cross.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a minute, he want to fight us?
Ben Cross and Matt. What was the other dude name? There was the two big boys, and I was like, because that's when I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah. Was that a Bunker dance? It was
a Bunker dance. I
remember we was walking from that shit, and it was like it was on and popping and shit, and like it was about to like really be like a clash of black and white, and then I don't know what stopped it, but I just remember.
They stopped it. They said they weren't giving us a ride home. Them niggas like, yo, the bus is leaving. So we was like, whoa, you gonna leave us out here with all these motherfuckers?
Yeah, no, that shit was a scary. Like when you look back at it, it's like, damn, we could have got really murdered. Like,
hey, small town, big dreams. Like I tell people all the time, I was born and raised in a small town, but we had all of the problems that I was hearing about in these songs in LA and everything. I was like, yo,
nigga, that's crazy. That's why I identify with fucking NWA and fucking Too Short. Yeah. Like I mean, you introduced me, and this one I respect that because I tell people all the time, like with NWA, and I still put them as my favorite group of all time. It's not like they only got off like 2 albums, and even one of them didn't have Cube on it, but and they had the little EP album, but
they had the EP, 100 Miles of Running.
But it's just the impact that they had on me. Like it wasn't, it was some real. It wasn't that fairy tale,
surprise, nigga.
Yeah, nigga. Like here's a little something about a nigga like me. Never should have been let out
the penitentiary.
Ice Cube would like to say that I'm a crazy motherfucker from around the way. Since I was a youth, I smoked weed out. Now I'm the motherfucker that you read about taking a life or two. That's what the hell I do. You don't like what I'm looking for? Fuck you. This is a game. Like I'm in it. And nigga Dre fuck you up in a minute with a right, left. You're toothless and make you say, God damn, they ruthless. Everywhere you go, they say, damn. It was like listening to these niggas, like it was past the fantasy. It was really like understanding, like what life is. It wasn't like we were committing crimes or anything like that, but we just understood that life, like we saw it.
It was real. It was real. Like we knew dope mans. Like we knew dope mans. We knew that my dream was to get a Cherokee and like have it hooked up like a dope girl Cherokee, right? So like like that.
Yeah, I want too shit. But the thing is, you earned it. You had the Cherokee. You earned that bitch. Like, and now I'm like, damn, this nigga got a whole ass car. I'm over here. That's what Ford Escort. I was like, I'm over here borrowing my sister's Ford Escort car while she's in the fucking military and shit. It's like you like I'm saying, like you earned, and that's why I say, like, you know, it's a certain attitude. Like, was it like the whole LeBron is earn not given type of stuff? Like, nah, like I had to earn my spot. You had to earn your spot. Like, it's nothing. Like, if I have a, you know, a house or a luxury car or anything like that, I earned this. You know what I'm saying? I got here because of what I do. I didn't get here because like people say like, well, no, you were sport. I was like, nigga, I wasn't really like, look, I had paper routes. Nigga, I couldn't get a basketball shoe unless I played sports. So I couldn't get a new shoe unless I played a
But
sport.
nigga, you had hiking boots back when niggas was really buying hiking boots, and you had hiking boots all elementary and didn't like them shits. I was like, dog. I was like, dog. But to bring it back to 360, back 360, built different.
Mm-hmm.
Built different. Adversity doesn't stop us; it just diverts us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like when we hit a wall, it's a way to get past that wall. We just got to figure it out. Now, if we sit down at the wall and just be like, "Fuck," we doing ourselves a disservice. We got to go out there and get it.
Yeah, knock the fucking wall down. Like,
or maybe just climb over that bitch because that's what we did.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not going to sit up here and let somebody tell me I can't do something. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I was talking to this dude, and we'll jump off after this. But I remember I was talking to this dude. He was like a vice president of the company, and I was telling him, I was like, well, you know, I want to make sure I'm kind of growing within the company. He was like, well, you know, for me, he's explaining to me. He's like, well, for me, and it was almost like he was talking down to me, but he was saying I didn't have to apply for jobs. Like, jobs came to me. And I'm thinking in my head, I was like, yo, ain't nobody handing me nothing. Ain't nobody coming to me saying, oh, look at your resume. I mean, of course, you know, you have LinkedIn now, which is a whole different monster, but nobody was coming to me to say, okay, well, you're perfect for this engineering job, or you're perfect for this specific job. I had to go out there and get it. It wasn't like, and I wouldn't have gotten it, you know what I'm saying, if I didn't go out there and get it. Like, when nobody come to me directly saying, okay, well, here's this, or here's a scholarship, or here's that, Shoot, dude, I graduated with a 3.6 and got $2,000 worth of scholarship. Like, nigga, like total. Like, nigga, I should have easily had a full ride or wherever I was going to school. And another part of that, I got to school, I got to Michigan State, was signing up for classes through the orientation. Come to find out, it was a scholarship that all you had to do was be black and have a 2.0, and I'd have had a scholarship for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And like, but I wasn't exposed to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, I mean, I could have literally just turned in the transcript and filled out whatever information and got the scholarship. You know, it wasn't like a scholarship based on who won it. It was a scholarship that was based off of, if you fit this criteria, you got the scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's little things like that. Like, no, I didn't know about these things, but here I am, you know, still got student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I wouldn't have gotten to where I've gotten in life if I hadn't accepted that debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not I want to say that I wouldn't have gotten my success that in the fashion that I wanted to get it without taking on those debts. Like, of course, there could have been other ways around it, but it could have been a longer path or whatever. But that was the wall that I was kicking down. I'm like, well, fuck it, shit. If I got to eat a loan, shit, I'm gonna graduate from this bitch. Like, it was people that was, you know, having loans and dropping out, and I'm like, well, you know, like, the toughest part about dropping out is that if you want to go back, you got to pay that loan back before you go back. I was like, well, shit, I'm just gonna have to eat the debt until I get the fuck out of this fucking school and shit. So.
Yeah, manage the debt until you can. But yeah,
right.
Again, I'm a prefix this whole thing. Built different. Yep. Built different. You see adversity, you don't run from it. You just say, okay. When Trump got the presidency, I was like, oh Lord, what the world? He gonna deport me. And my mom was like, why you keep saying deport? You was born in Muskegon, Michigan. I was like, it don't matter, right? I was like, it don't matter, because I could see this happening before he got there, right? But I make money regardless of who in office. And I say that. I say that with all due respect to the people that he fucking up right now, because he did mess up my money. So like with my Bitcoin, with my investments, that he fucking up my money. But my job is to do well in spite of him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
You just got to maneuver through the process and figure out a different way to do it. Like things aren't going to come to us the way that we want them to, and most likely it's going to be a barrier or a boundary that you're going to have to figure out. But like you said, built different. I think that you will figure it out. Like you're not going to just sit up there and just be like, oh, boo hoo me, Trump's a bitch. Like you go out there,
Yeah.
you can't like, and that's what I feel like sometimes people do. People be like, oh man, Trump's in office, he's gonna fuck shit up. It's like no, Trump's in office, so you have to figure out how to maneuver around the bullshit that he fucks up. Like, and that's just what life is. Like everything isn't going to go the way that you expected um, to go in life, and you just got to be able to find that balance to be like, well, he's fuck. I mean, because it's like, oh, is my life over because he's a president? Like, no, I still got to live. I still got to make money. I still got to eat. You know, like I'm not happy that I'm like, well, shit, this fucking tariff shit, like that shit go fuck me up getting my Switch too. Like shit, like I couldn't even do a pre-order on April 9th because of this tariff shit. And I'm like, damn, shit, like I'm seeing that. I mean, like I said, it's a smaller thing, but I'm seeing that direct impact. I'm like, damn, I ain't gonna be able to get the new Nintendo and shit. But
This is crazy. But I mean, what do we know because of that? He want more businesses here. So if you want more business here, come with the fucking funding. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, I got businesses here. Let's come with the funding. Like
or
you want
even on top of that, you have businesses. Other people can have businesses as well. People say, "I want to be an entrepreneur." Da da da. Okay, whatever you see Trump hitting these tariffs on, look at that type of business and look at it as being attainable. The problem that sometimes people have is they think like things aren't attainable just because. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've even talked about like designing a shoe, right? I'm like, well, shoot, people, that's one thing you're not going to get past. Like people wear shoes. I'm like, well, shoot, let's try to design a shoe. Like that's one of the things that I've been looking at. But I'm saying that as a standpoint of now, I have a better chance at designing that shoe in the U.S. than I would. I mean, it may cost me more, but than designing it overseas. But I'm saying like create opportunities. Don't wait for the opportunity to come to you.
yeah. And
So
I'm gonna tell you, this small business shit ain't as romantic as you see it online. You know what I'm saying? There
it's
is some hard times,
facts.
but like the part about it is you pushing through those hard times,
It's
and
your
especially
shit.
when you got employees, yeah, because
It's
you
your shit.
know the whole deal, and like because some of them employers they fucked up because they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And they looking at it too, like, hey, I got mouths to feed. I got to cut this off before I could. But with you knowing everything, and like I tell people all the time, don't hustle and get you another job. Hustle and get you an opportunity where you can create growth,
Mhm.
not only for yourself, but if you got a business and you only employing yourself, then that's just another job. But your name is on it, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
cool. All right. Well, with that, thanks for joining again, cuz. Appreciate you. Um, Nothing new under the sun is a podcast.
yeah.
Mine
We
is
back
reality
like we
about
never left.
huh?
I said we back like we never left.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, make sure you like, subscribe. If you don't, just say some whole shit in the comments. I'm cool with that too. But make sure you check out all of the podcasts and appreciate you. Talk to you soon.